Yvette, is Dee Dee distancing herself because she doesn't want to be seen with you since you're further along in your pregnancy? Are people messing with you? No one is messing with me, Mom. Then what ended your friendship? Heidi wouldn't have anything on us if you had just kept your mouth shut. And I wouldn't have had to tell Heidi anything if you hadn't betrayed me to begin with. What do you mean? Do you have a next step in mind? If Wade was bold enough to threaten you, then it wouldn't hurt to let his mother know about it. Hopefully you have an update on where my son has been. I have something to tell you about your other son. I never asked you to look into Wade, and I'm not Phiboon. Wade was the one who threatened my girlfriend. Why do you need to speak with me about D.A. Russo, Wanda? Because the woman whose position you're trying to take is blackmailing me. Blackmailing you with what? As if you have to ask. D.A. Russo knows that you and I are sleeping together? Thankfully, she doesn't know that. But she does know that Udell caught you kissing me this past Labor Day and is threatening to expose it if Udell withdraws his endorsement. Thank you for coming, Udell. Have you made your decision? Wow, you're no longer using your cane, JJ. How are you feeling? Like $1,000,000. But according to my parents, I can't touch that sort of money until I reach a certain age in adulthood. How are you feeling, Yvette? Are you only asking me because I'm getting fat? It's not like that's anything you have any control over. But I could have prevented it. Not that I regret keeping the baby, but I didn't have to put myself in this situation. Bottom line is that I know that since the baby is growing, it's taking a physical toll on you, especially with Keith's sentence coming up. What does that have to do with me, JJ? He almost took your life. Are you not going to face Keith in court? Nope. Wade would never threaten anyone without good reason. So you think it was acceptable for Wade to make sure that Quinlan stays away from you? What makes you so sure that she's telling you the truth? I know about your girlfriend's past. I'm surprised that you two are actually an item. But we are. And I don't see why Quinlan would lie about something like this. Why are you mad at me when Udell was dumb enough to tell D.A. Russo that we kissed? Watch your mouth when you're speaking about my husband, Owen. I did not marry a stupid man. Besides, Udell wouldn't have told Heidi anything if you hadn't told him how she manipulated us all. I never expected for Udell to tell Heidi how he caught us, but he did. Now someone else knows about our mistake. No one knows that we've been sleeping together. As if it makes the situation any better. Did Udell agree to keep his endorsement? Are you proud of yourself, Heidi, threatening to bring scandal into my life just so that you would run this campaign squeaky clean? Are you proud of your wife's actions? You must be loving this, having this power over me. This is the last thing I wanted, Udell. What you want is to win this election and you'd sell your soul if necessary. Do I still have your endorsement, Udell? Congratulations, Heidi. You won today. I get that Keith is pleading guilty, but it is important to share witness testimonies so that there's no chance that he'd get parole in the future. Ulissa was a member of the most influential family in town, JJ. Keith will be in prison for the rest of his life. But don't you still think that Keith should understand the pain that he's caused, Yvette? You know how evil that psycho is. He's not gonna regret a single thing. Why should I face that monster since the last time I laid eyes on him, he pointed a weapon at my face? Maybe being an enemy of my family will benefit Quinlan's career. Do you truly believe Quinlan would go against your family just to get ahead in life? I don't see why Wade would threaten her in the first place. Because Wade doesn't want Quinlan to discover something that he must be hiding, Phiboon. Is Quinlan digging into something that doesn't concern her? Maybe you should ask yourself why this is the first time you're hearing about this, rather than hearing any of this from your son. Udell will continue to endorse Heidi. Looks like your plan backfired on you. If I knew that things would turn out like this, then I would have made another move. You shouldn't have made any moves, Owen. Did you expect me to just stand around and let Udell scheme against me, along with the Russos and the Dervals? You wouldn't have to worry about those families if you just drop out of the race. I wasn't trying to make this a battle between us, Udell. That's what ended up happening. Wanda and I had a long, serious discussion where we decided that I should endorse your stupid campaign. You and Wanda made a wise choice. Can I ask you something, Heidi? I'm all ears. Will you use the information you have on Wanda and Owen to try and control me and my family? I'm not trying to upset you, Yvette. Then why don't you just drop this? Keith won't be able to hurt you anymore. I get how it troubles you being back in the same room with him since it brings back terrifying memories. It's obvious that you'll be making a statement against him, JJ. I'm not as brave as you are. It's not my way of being brave, Yvette. My goal is to right wrongs since I couldn't stop Keith when I had the chance. We've already been through this. You shouldn't blame yourself for what happened last September. Bottom line is that Keith already traumatized me twice. I don't need to face any more trauma now that I'm pregnant. Twice? What else has he done to you? Didn't I already make it clear that I won't accept you trying to turn me against my son? That's not what I'm trying to do, Fiboon. Look, you came to me to try and find Sean. All I ask is that you ensure that you won't allow Wade to harm Quinlan. You know that I'm not dropping out of the race, Wanda. Don't you understand that this campaign has made my life more difficult? I didn't run for district attorney to hurt you. Has there ever been a moment when I ever made you feel terrible? Sleeping with you behind my husband's back makes me feel pretty awful. That's guilt. But have I ever made you feel terrible at all? I'm not Isadora Udell. You've obviously learned some tricks from that family you married into. Since we're working together to prevent Owen from winning this election, I hope that we won't be hostile with the remainder of this campaign. You came after my family, Heidi. You don't get to make that request. It just makes me sick trying to convince everyone that Keith was my boyfriend when I was just using him to get something that I wanted. You didn't know that he was stalking Vanessa, and you definitely didn't know that he'd bring a weapon to school and try to end everyone's life. I don't want to talk about him. I just want to move on, JJ. The two of us are in a good place. It's best not to mess that up. It pains me to say this, but I am not proud of the woman that you have become. Since we're working together to prevent Owen from winning this election, I hope that we won't be hostile with the remainder of this campaign. You came after my family, Heidi. You don't get to make that request. Didn't I already make it clear that I won't accept you trying to turn me against my son? That's not what I'm trying to do, Fiboon. Look, you came to me to try and find Sean. All I ask is that you ensure that you won't allow Wade to harm Quinlan. Udell, I really don't understand why I'm here if you're no longer endorsing Heidi. And that's why I called you here, Jeremiah. I'm keeping my endorsement. What made you change your mind? I wasn't really given a choice. Heidi blackmailed me. Why have you been so down lately, Shirley? Vivian stopped by here the other day. I'm glad she was able to pay you a visit since she's been busy with Russo Jewelers. How come this is the first I'm hearing about it? Cause I was trying to forget that my own daughter was trying to get me to accept the fact that she's a manipulator, Isaac. I was finally able to get Vivian to open up about Wade Pena. What exactly did you find out, Dad? I found out that you're a bigger fool than I thought. What's going on, Mom? When exactly were you gonna let me know that she threatened Quinlan Franklin? Heidi is threatening? To expose that Wanda and Owen kiss one another? All so you can keep on endorsing her? That's right. It makes me sick just thinking about it. I guess my dad had a point. What do you mean, Jeremiah? He had a feeling that Heidi must have done something foul to make you drop your endorsement. Because of that, my dad suggested that I withdraw my endorsement as well. After hearing about all of this, I don't think that would be such a bad idea. What went on between you two when Vivian stopped by here? Vivian's trying to host some event to showcase her new jewelry designs next month, and she invited me. But you rejected her invitation and she didn't take it well. She thinks that there's this chance I'll change my mind, Isaac. But it really concerned me to hear Vivian justify stealing Russo jewelry from the Russos. Do you want me to speak with her? Feel free to do what you want, Isaac. Sadly, I don't think she's gonna listen. What did she tell you that makes you see me as a fool, Dad? Vivian was never on the phone with Wade Apina, and I told you that she denied it. I ain't denied that I was on the phone with someone when you entered my office that day at the door, but I wasn't on the phone with Wade Apina. What do you mean? I heard you, Vivian. Did you hear Wade Apina's voice on the other line? No. I was trying to make you believe that Wade was on the phone when I was actually on the phone with Pacho. Actually making you believe that I was connected to the mob was his idea. And now you look like a complete fool in front of our father and our brother, just like I wanted. I made it clear to Quinlan that she was to stay away from you. Quinlan didn't come anywhere near me, Wade. Then how did you know that I recently spoke with her? I'm still in contact with her boyfriend, remember? It was Ben who told me what you've done. Why am I not surprised? Once again, Ben is trying to turn you against me. Is he? Or are you doing that all on your own? Withdrawing your endorsement for Heidi wouldn't be a good idea, Jeremiah. I want to make it clear that I don't want to see Owen Grant become district attorney after everything he's done. But Heidi needs to understand that blackmailing you and your wife is unacceptable. Doesn't she understand that she's breaking the law herself? I understand all of that, but I can't risk you going against her. Why not, Udell? It's not like she has anything she could blackmail me with. Exactly. If you decide not to support her campaign, there's a chance that she could continue to blackmail me to try and convince you to stay on her side. There was a time when you and Vivian were close where she listened to what you had to say. For the majority of her life, I was her only parent. But I made the mistake of thinking that she wouldn't want to find out about Lorenzo when you and Austin came into our lives. Now I realize how wrong I was. She'll understand that you did what you thought was best. I thought wrong, Isaac. Life could have turned out so different if I had only told her the full truth once she was old enough to understand. Maybe she wouldn't have grown so bitter to the point where she wanted some sort of revenge. You might have everyone else in this room fooled, Vivian, but not me. Never again. And now you look like a bigger idiot, not believing me when the truth is right in front of you at the door. I needed you to realize that nothing you do will ever change the fact that I'll be running this company for many more years to come, especially since you won't have anything to blackmail me with. Just accept it as a door. Vivian is already steps ahead of you. Do you not hear yourself, Gianni? I've always known you were a loser, but I never expected you to be a sucker either. Are you really gonna take her side over mine? As if you're making it easy to take your side. You need to drop this before you make yourself look even worse. How could you suggest that I try to turn you against me when Sean is nowhere to be found? How could you not tell me that you threatened Quinlan Franklin? I'll make something perfectly clear. It was a warning. Besides, I don't need to come to you about every single move I make to protect this family. What exactly are you trying to protect this family from, Wade? It's not like Wanda left you for Owen. Why can't you just expose Owen for trying to break you two apart? Yvette is pregnant. You know how young my daughter is. Wanda helped me to understand that our priority is to ensure that she and the baby stay healthy, rather than dealing with the stress over a political scandal. Alright, for your family's sake, I'll still support Heidi's campaign. But I have to be honest, Udell. I don't see her actions benefiting her in the end. What's done is done, Shirley. Thinking about what could have been done differently won't do us any good. All we can do is accept what's happened and pray that Vivian would choose a life serving Jesus, which will encourage her to make the right choices. I pray for my baby every single day, Isaac. It keeps me from being completely helpless when I see her living a life just to get money and doing whatever she can to keep it. Everyone seems to be calling me the fool when you, Gianni, are the fool for siding with the bastard. Don't refer to her like that while you're in my presence, Isidore. That's exactly what she is, Dad. Mom wasn't the one who gave birth to this spawn, and I'm relieved that I ain't come out of your wicked mother, and that I was actually raised by a saint instead of a witch. But you need to listen to Lorenzo. Watch your mouth when you speak about me and to me. Don't forget that I run this company, Isidore, not you. You just love rubbing that in my face, don't you? Ain't you a little too old for sibling bickering? I need you to focus on making sure there's a lot of press for the May event instead of wasting time to find something you could try and control me with. I'd do what she says if I were you, Isidore. Quinlan is an opportunist, Mom. Since she can't locate Sean, going after our family and exposing what she can find about the organization could be her next step. On top of that, do you not think that Ben would tell her where Sean is if he finds her? What do you think she'd do with that sort of information? Bottom line is that Keith already traumatized me twice. I don't need to face any more trauma now that I'm pregnant. Twice? What else has he done to you? Watch your mouth when you speak about me and to me. Don't forget that I run this company, Isidore, not you. You just love rubbing that in my face, don't you? Ain't you a little too old for sibling bickering? I need you to focus on making sure there's a lot of press for the May event instead of wasting time to find something you could try and control me with. I'd do what she says if I were you, Isidore. Quinlan is an opportunist, Mom. Since she can't locate Sean, going after our family and exposing what she can find about the organization could be her next step. On top of that, do you not think that Ben would tell her where Sean is if he finds her? What do you think she'd do with that sort of information? I'm keeping my endorsement. What made you change your mind? I wasn't really given a choice. Heidi blackmailed me. Did Wade agree that he wouldn't lay one finger on Quinlan? Here's my question, Ben. What do you plan to do once you locate Sean? Are we gonna have a nice conversation, JJ? Or are you still mad at me over a situation you know nothing about? I'm not trying to argue with you, Dee. This is gonna be an honest question. What do you need to know? Did Yvette mention anything about other ways that Kieberg harmed her other than the day when he took Ulysses' life? Come in. Hello, Heidi. Wanda, this is a surprise. Is it? You're blackmailing me, yet you didn't think I'd pay you a visit? Look, I get that you're mad, but believe me, I'm more than mad. You better be thankful that Udell is still endorsing you and that you're still the district attorney. It's that fact alone that reminds me that I'd be spending the night in jail for wiping this floor with you. What's made you upset, Isidore? Dad's little bastard has got him wrapped around her little finger, Mom. We've already agreed that you'd be told where Sean is located, and I'm the only person you'll tell, correct? If you're worried that I'll notify the police, then I'll remind you that I'm no longer in the force. What about Quinlan? It seems like you two tell each other everything. Will you also inform her where my son has been located if you find him? All I know about that weirdo is that he stalked Vanessa, took Ulysses' life, but that Yvette pretended to date him last summer. And you're 100% sure that's all you know? I'm sure, JJ. Why do you even want to know? Yvette's not gonna testify against Keith in court. When she explained it to me, she mentioned that Keith did something to her other than almost taking her life. Why do you want to beat me up when you're the one who betrayed your husband? Don't try to lecture me when you weren't faithful in your own marriage either. At least Gianni and I made amends. And I made amends with Udell. Bottom line, I never once kissed Owen, nor did I have any desire to do so. Did you just come here just so you could talk in circles, Wanda? I wanted to know why you try to come after me like this. You know what it's like for the whole world to know your business, Heidi. Why would you threaten to make me feel that sort of pain? What has Vivian done now? She made a fool out of me. How so? A little while back, I overheard her on the phone with Wade Pina in her office at Russell Jewelers. She did what? I had that same reaction, Mom. Except she wanted me to believe that she was on the phone with that criminal when she was on the phone with Pacho all along. Why would that spawn trick you like that? To break me down, Mom. She wanted me to feel like I'd never get the upper hand. That girl is a demon, which is why I'll be making sure that her Russell Jewelers event is a failure. No, Isidore, you can't. You have my word that we'll be the only people who know of Sean's location when he's found. Unless you can't seem to trust me. You're still breathing, Ben. That should answer your question. And can I still trust you, Fiboon? Is Quinlan no longer your son's target? As long as she knows nothing about Sean's whereabouts, then the target will be lifted off of her. Did Yvette mention anything else to you? She tried to brush it off and say that she was just disturbed about the fact that she tried to make everyone believe the two of them were dating. But you think that there's something more? Yeah, I think you need to drop it, JJ. Kwemwe. Refusing to leave Yvette alone is what ended our friendship. Except I didn't betray Yvette's trust, Didi. Mvle Edil. And you don't think I was trying to help her, cousin? If she don't want to face Keith in court, then that's her problem. Hold up. Yvette's not going to testify against Keith? I wasn't going to risk losing the election all because Udell's feelings were hurt. Please don't point out the obvious. I feel like you're just insulting my intelligence. How much more do you want to hurt my family, Heidi? Yvette dropped the charges against your son, confessed to lying, and apologized. Don't you think it's sad that you want to hurt a child so badly? And don't you think it's sad that you hurt your husband, who ended up sticking by you and didn't go off cheating on you with some other whore? My marriage would have been just fine if you hadn't interfered in the first place. Don't try to blame me for the mess in your marriage, Wanda. There were already issues before Owen came along, and you know it. It's not like I put some sort of spell on you to kiss that man. Blackmailing me didn't make things any better. I hope you realize that you started another war between our family. Why would you try to stop me, Mom? I thought you'd support this idea. I spoke with Nona, and I'm gonna ruin the event that Vivian plans to host in May. This event is huge for the company, Isidore. I don't want there to be any collateral damage. Our family's not running the company, remember? Whatever happens next is down to Vivian. She might not even want to be in charge to clean up the mess. I swear, Isidore, if you don't back down, then I will blow up your entire scheme. Do you honestly see Quinlan as a threat? I'm not threatened by your girlfriend, Ben, but she can cause problems with her platform if she discovers where Sean is. I will grant your wish as long as you grant mine. Why wouldn't Yvette want to testify against Keith? She was there when Yulissa lost her life. Keith almost blew her away just like he almost blew me away. She's scared, Vanessa. Of what? The court is filled with police. Keith will probably be handcuffed for all we know. It's not like he'd be able to do anything even if he wanted to. There's still time for Yvette to change her mind. Well, she better take advantage of the time she's got left. A war isn't something you'd want to start, Wanda. Not when I've got the upper hand. What makes you so sure that I want to expose you as a blackmailer? I'm sure that you'd lose your legal license and your position as DA once it's discovered that you broke the law. There would be no reason to, as long as I don't expose that you've kissed Owen. And I'm sure that you don't want to experience that sort of fallout when your daughter is carrying a child of her own. So I advise you to behave yourself throughout the remainder of this campaign. Do you honestly think I'd allow Vivian to get away with this? No, I don't. But there is another way to make her pay, Isidore. Focus on proving to your father that you are a capable leader. I've been doing that for years, Mom. All of a sudden, Vivian pops up out of the blue, and he feels like no one else can do a better job. You can, and you will. You're in charge of the press for this event. Make this the biggest event that Russell Jewelers has ever seen. Make Vivian feel the pressure. Let's hope she doesn't work well under pressure, Mom, because whatever success she finds, Dad will give her all of the credit. And if that happens, it means that we've lost him to that spawn forever. Why wouldn't Yvette want to testify against Keith? She was there when Yulissa lost her life. Keith almost blew her away just like he almost blew me away. She's scared, Vanessa. Of what? The court is filled with police. Keith will probably be handcuffed for all we know. It's not like he'd be able to do anything even if he wanted to. Isidore, when I lost Yulissa, life seemed so hopeless. But you never gave up on me. Being with you again, I forget how being loved by you made me feel so alive. And I don't want to lose that again, Isidore. I can't. You won't. I'll make sure of it. What about Quinlan? It seems like you two tell each other everything. Will you also inform her where my son has been located if you find him? What makes you so sure that I want to expose you as a blackmailer? I'm sure that you'd lose your legal license and your position as DA once it's discovered that you broke the law. There would be no reason to, as long as I don't expose that you've kissed Owen. And I'm sure that you don't want to experience that sort of fallout when your daughter is carrying a child of her own. So I advise you to behave yourself throughout the remainder of this campaign.
Please tell me you're not here to try and confirm whether I'm committed to turning Pacho and Owen against each other.
That would be nice, Udell, but the reason why I'm here is to make sure that your wife doesn't mess up my campaign in any way. Do you know if Wade still sees me as dangerous?
He does, and after speaking with Fiboon, she sees you as a threat as well, Quinlan.
What do you need from me, Vanessa? I need you to explain why you refused to testify against the monster who took my best friend's life. You know what, Mom? I'm beginning to get more excited about this Russo Jewelers event more than Vivian is. I can't wait to bring it all down. Try to be patient, Alan. Just remember to stay on her good side and to ensure that she's caught by surprise. My son and my ex-wife. What a lovely surprise.
Let me worry about Wanda's actions. She has every right to be upset over the fact that you blackmailed her.
Are you aware that she confronted me in my office the other day? On top of that, she expressed how much she wanted to beat me up over the fact that I had knowledge of her mistake.
I had no idea, Heidi.
Since she didn't let you know, guess that means she understands she was in the wrong.
Yet you never seem to understand when you're in the wrong.
What exactly did Fiboon tell you, Ben? She'll make sure that Wade doesn't harm you as long as I never tell you where Sean is located if I ever find him. When you find him. She doesn't have to know what I know, especially since I'll make sure that Sean pays for taking the life of a 14-year-old girl. And if I find Sean, then I'll do whatever I can to get him to hand himself in so that Fiboon knows that I stuck by my word. That's not good enough for me. Sean ran off so that he wouldn't have to face the consequences of his actions. What makes you think he'll hand himself in when you find him? I can't believe that JJ told you about this. And I can't believe that you're trying to pretend like Keith didn't end Ulysses' life while trying to end our lives. I'm not pretending at all, Vanessa. All I'm trying to do is move on. Do you truly believe you'll be able to move on if you don't take the chance to tell Keith in person about the pain he caused you? What are you doing here, Dad?
Same thing that you two are doing here.
Unless you both aren't having lunch. We are, and I hope you don't plan to join us. The divorce papers you gave me almost 20 years ago pretty much made it clear to me that you were done playing happy family. Don't worry, Harley. I was just gonna have a relaxing time to myself. But since you're here, Alan, do you mind if I have a quick word with your mother alone? That depends on Mom. Find us a table, Alan. I'll meet you over there. What do you want, Isidore? I never got the chance to offer you my condolences over Finnegan's passing. What do you actually want? Life is short, Harley. Are you sure that there's no way you could just forget that I blackmailed Terry for over 20 years? I'll let you say whatever you need to say, Jeremiah, but I just need to make sure that Udell and I have an agreement. Is that another way of saying that you're blackmailing him with something else? You know. Yes, Heidi, I do know. Can you explain to me why I should continue to support a district attorney who is breaking the law? It's not that simple, Jeremiah. I happen to disagree. You should thank Udell for convincing me to keep my endorsement. Most of all, you should be ashamed of yourself for sinking so low just to win this upcoming election. As long as I can keep you out of harm's way, I'll make sure to be convincing if I come face to face with Sean. Can you promise me that, Ben? Because you know how important it is for me to make sure Danny didn't lose her life in vain. And it's very important to me that you don't lose your life either, Quinlan. Fiboon made her wishes very clear. I just can't understand how Fiboon is just okay with her son threatening me behind her back. How does she not realize that Wade has something to hide? Wade must be the expert on how to manipulate his mother. And somehow we had to find a way to get her to stop being so blind over the facts. I'll do just fine if I never lay eyes on Keithberg ever again. I'm not testifying against Keith because I'm eager to see him, Yvette. Just thinking about that psycho makes my skin crawl. My goal is to make sure he gets the proper punishment. Do you honestly believe that Keith will get a chance at parole for taking the life of Isabel towards his daughter and Pacho towards his youngest sister? I'm sure he won't. But since Keith did take Ulysses' life, I want to make sure that he doesn't stay on Earth long for what he's done. I knew you weren't sorry about Finnegan passing away. You have closure, Harley. From what I understand, you're in possession of that man's ashes. I didn't get closure, Essador. I never got the chance to say goodbye. And I'm sorry that you're going through that sort of pain. But would you actually want to see me, the father of your only child, live a life of pain without the woman I love? Yes, Essador. I truly do want you to feel the pain that I'm going through. I assume that Udell reminded you that dropping an endorsement for me would have given Owen a greater chance at winning the election. Because of your issues with Owen, I don't believe you'd want that to happen. But you certainly wanted to see Udell and Wanda's marriage go up in flames. Of course, Udell left out the fact that my main purpose was to get justice for my son. You remember Max, right, Jeremiah? The boy who was dating your daughter? Stop it. Arguing won't get us anywhere. Then let's make sure we have less arguments amongst ourselves. Starting with you making sure that Wanda doesn't make any moves against me. It's not as simple as you'd like for it to be, Quinlan. Fiboon clearly loves her boys even if her face doesn't show it. Causing her to lose her trust in her firstborn will be a challenge. Maybe not. Wade has done plenty of things that weren't worthy of his mother's trust. We just had to make sure that it ends up backfiring on him. You, JJ, and I'm sure countless other people will testify against Keith. Why does it matter if I say anything or not, Vanessa? As you can see, I'm pregnant. And it's not as fun as your mom makes it look. Stress isn't good for me or my baby, so I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm anxious being in the same room as the psycho who tried to take my life. Since you decided to keep your baby, I just assumed that it would make you less selfish. Come on, Harley. You're better than this. Am I? Because we both know you're not. The mental scars of being your wife confirms it, Essador. Keith Burke is about to be sentenced, Harley. Isabel needs my support. How do you know that? Have you been seeing her lately? It's common sense that she needs to know who has her back as she gets closure. Isabel will have the support of her living children, Essador. It will benefit you both if you continue to leave her alone. Enjoy your lunch. Just thinking about that psycho makes my skin crawl. My goal is to make sure he gets the proper punishment. Do you honestly believe that Keith will get a chance at parole for taking the life of Isabel towards his daughter and Pacho towards his youngest sister? I'm sure he won't. But since Keith did take Ulysses' life, I want to make sure that he doesn't stay on Earth long for what he's done. Can you explain to me why I should continue to support a district attorney who is breaking the law? It's not that simple, Jeremiah. I happen to disagree. You should thank Udell for convincing me to keep my endorsement. Most of all, you should be ashamed of yourself for sinking so low just to win this upcoming election. What's going on, Yvette? I heard how you opened up your big mouth. What's upsetting you, Vanessa? It's Yvette. What has she done? It's more about what she's not gonna do. Can you explain it to me? Yvette's not gonna testify against Keith in court, Max. How did your meeting with Udell go, Jeremiah? It sure didn't go as planned. Udell, what are you doing here? I came here for answers. Answers about what? How come you didn't tell me that you confronted Heidi the other day, Wanda? You found out that I told Dee Dee and Vanessa that you wouldn't be testifying against Keith in court. And you know more than anyone what your sister is like, JJ. What made you think it was a good idea for her to know? Did you actually think she'd make me change my mind? That's not what I was trying to do, Yvette. Not at all. Vanessa wasn't even supposed to know about any of this. Then how did she? Vanessa overheard me asking Dee Dee about you. Did you confront Yvette about this? What do you think, Max? I really wish she didn't do that. Yvette was here, right here, when Keith took Ulysses' life, wounded you, and almost took us all out. I needed to understand why Yvette wouldn't take the chance to testify against that monster when it counts the most. What happened? To my surprise, Heidi was there, and when I entered Udell's office, it didn't look like they were happy with one another. Are you sure you can't share anything about why Udell dropped his endorsement in the first place? Trust me, Shelly, it's best that you don't know. Do you honestly think it's best for me to be confused as to why Udell would endorse Heidi again when he was adamant about dropping the endorsement? I didn't think it mattered, Udell. Why not? Because Heidi didn't have any regrets about blackmailing me. Are you surprised? All she cares about is remaining as district attorney. Why did Heidi even tell you about the confrontation? Because she wants to ensure that you don't mess up her campaign, Wanda. You know that Dee Dee and I aren't friends anymore, JJ. You don't ever need to speak about me with her. I did, because something you mentioned concerned me. What are you talking about? In your own words, Yvette, you told me how Keith traumatized you twice. And I told you that I was referring to the fact that I tried to convince everyone that I was dating him. I didn't forget what you said, Yvette. The thing is that I don't buy it, and you know there's more to the story. Everyone has handled the tragedy in different ways, Vanessa, and I get that, but I just want to make sure that nothing gets in the way of the judge making the right choice. Keith has already pled guilty. Just pray that God gives the judge wisdom, and I've been praying, Max. I just want to make sure that everyone does their part to make sure that Keith gets the proper sentence. I don't want us to get in between the battle Udell has with Heidi. Our battle is against Owen. Can we even win when there's so much division in Heidi's own campaign? As long as we can remember that we don't want to see Owen become the next district attorney, then we'll get the upper hand. I hope and pray that can be the case, Jeremiah, because whatever is going on between Udell and Heidi means that our chances of making sure that Owen loses this election have fallen. The next time Heidi has something to say about me, then let her know that I'm too busy running my company to worry about her little campaign. Since you're not concerned about the election, then there's nothing to worry about. I'm just eager for all of this to be over so that we can all move on. Move on? Udell, don't tell me that we're just gonna let Heidi have this hold over us forever. There's nothing else we can do, Wanda. Right now, I just need to figure out how to turn Pacho and Owen against one another, since you don't want to expose Owen for trying to break up our marriage. I can't believe you still see me as a liar. I'm not trying to attack you, Yvette. Look, I'm your friend. I want to help. Let me stop you right there, JJ. I made it very clear that just because we're cool with each other doesn't make us friends. Most of all, I don't need your help. Whatever the judge decides, Keith won't be able to hurt anyone ever again. Are you sure about that, Max? I'm sure there will be plenty of people in prison that he'd run into. He could still hurt someone else if he's not executed. Just pray, Shelly. pray that this election will work out as it should. I will. It's just frustrating that Heidi is making it difficult to support her when I don't even know what she's done. You're not alone, even though I know exactly what she's done. Yes, Udell, I understand that admitting to what I've done will offer a simple resolution, but it will cause a lot of pain. And I understand that, Wanda, which is why I'm gonna give Owen a taste of his own medicine. He almost made me drop my endorsement for Heidi, and I'll figure out how to make Pacho drop his endorsement for Owen. Yvette was here, right here, when Keith took Ulysses' life, wounded you, and almost took us all out. I needed to understand why Yvette wouldn't take the chance to testify against that monster when it counts the most. Do you honestly think I'd allow Vivian to get away with this? No, I don't. But there is another way to make her pay, Isidore. Focus on proving to your father that you are a capable leader. I've been doing that for years, Mom. All of a sudden, Vivian pops up out of the blue, and he feels like no one else can do a better job. I just can't understand how Faiboon is just okay with her son threatening me behind her back. How does she not realize that Wade has something to hide? Wade must be the expert on how to manipulate his mother. And somehow we had to find a way to get her to stop being so blind over the facts. Why does it seem like you've been upset with me lately, JJ? I don't know, Vanessa. Maybe it's because you've made Yvette feel guilty for not testifying against Keith in court. Do you plan to testify against Keith in court, Zeke? Yeah, I'm just really doing it for Nichelle. Why do you want to know, Dee? 'Cause I'd like for you to ask Yvette if she could do the same. What do you need to ask me, Lorenzo? I just want to make sure that Isidore isn't causing you any trouble, Vivian. If you're here to discuss Quinlan, then you'll be glad to know that she'll back off. I'm here because I'm concerned, Ben. Concerned about what? I'm worried that something has happened to Sean. If you're expecting me to apologize to Yvette, then I guess you'll walk away being disappointed. Whether you apologize or not, Vanessa, I just want to make sure that you leave Yvette alone. What did I miss? Since when did she ask you to be her knight in shining armor, JJ? She didn't. I get that I wasn't in school the day that Keith brought a weapon and took Ulysses' life, but I'm pretty sure that Yvette has gone through a lot of pain throughout the school year. Now that she's pregnant, I just don't think she needs to be pressured into anything. Ulyssa was our friend, JJ. When Ulyssa was alive, you couldn't care less about Yvette's feelings. So how come you're suddenly okay with the fact that she won't testify against the monster who made our lives miserable? I don't know if I can convince Yvette to do anything. Yvette and I ain't friends no more, Zeke. It ain't like she's gonna listen to what I gotta say. I ain't friends with Yvette either, Dee. Yeah, but you two are gonna have a connection for the rest of your lives. She might actually hear you out. Isidore ain't been messing with me at all, Lorenzo. Actually, the rest of the family ain't really giving me problems. But that worries me. How come? You know how the family is like, and they ain't usually this quiet, which means all of them are up to something. But Gianni assured you that he wouldn't let the event turn into a disaster. And I'm still not sure if I can take his word for it. Take my word for it, Vivian. If anyone messes up your event, then they will face my wrath. What makes you so sure that something terrible has happened to Sean? It hasn't been long since Quinlan interviewed me. My son should have reached out to me by now, Ben. Or maybe Sean truly doesn't want to be found, Faiboon. And I understand that. But he would know that I would be able to keep him hidden. At the end of the day, Yvette can't be forced into doing anything she doesn't want to do. I don't know what Yvette told you, but I never tried to force her into anything, JJ. Let me make it clear to you that I don't want to see Keith again at all. All I want to do is make sure that justice is served. Proper justice. There aren't enough people who will testify against him, Vanessa. Enough testimonies to keep that weirdo in prison for the rest of his life. I'm not worried that he'll make parole. What worries me is that Keith will keep on living while Ulysses is not here. Look, Dee, You already know that Yvette don't even want me in the kid's life. Do you want to be in your baby's life? You also know how complicated that question is. Fine, we can worry about that later. I get that I ain't never knew Elissa, but I know how loved she was. Vanessa would be less stressed if Yvette testifies. You're right, Elissa was loved, but no matter what went on between Yvette and I, that don't mean she'd want to hear my opinion on what she should do in court. What are you two chatting about? Why are you so eager to stand up for me?
Because I'm your father.
Yeah, but I'm your illegitimate daughter, Lorenzo. It ain't even been a whole year since you found that out. And you expect me to believe that you go against your family for me?
You're a part of this family, Vivian. How long will it take for you to believe that I would have welcomed you with open arms if your mother had only told me that she was pregnant?
Clarice made it clear by the time that my mama was pregnant with me that I was nothing more than your bastard. There ain't no way Gianni and Isidore would have considered me as family. It don't matter that I was the cutest baby in world history. You already don't believe that Wade is hiding Sean from you. What do you think could have happened to Sean? He could have ran into the wrong person while on the run, Ben. I get how that's a possibility, but I'm sure that Sean would have let any dangerous person know the sort of family he belongs to. What if he didn't get the chance to explain any further? I'll always be angry over what Keeve did, and the judge would be making the right choice if Keeve does get executed. But a life in prison wouldn't be a life of paradise for him or anyone. You know how sick he is. I wouldn't be surprised if Keeve actually gets used to life in prison. As for Ulissa, she had such a bright future, and that monster cold-heartedly snatched it all away. I refuse to live the rest of my life in a world where Keeve Burke is still alive while Ulissa is not. I was just asking Zeke if he was gonna testify against Keeve. Why does that matter to you? Cause Ulissa was friends with my cousins. Again, what does that have to do with you? Guess I'll see myself out. That wasn't called for, Nichelle. I didn't tell her to stay away from you, Zeke. Besides, what right does your friend have to discuss my late sister's case with you or anyone else? What happened in this school, in this library, has nothing to do with Dee Dee.
At least she wants to help, Nichelle. Yvette was here too, and she don't even want to testify in court. And you think I would have allowed anyone to mistreat my infant daughter?
As if you'd be around me 24/7. Don't forget, I was conceived after Devontae Torres took Elvira's life. I'm a constant reminder to your wife that you ain't honor your vows, Lorenzo. My life could have been miserable for all you know.
But you took over this company because you felt robbed out of your birthright.
Yes, but I also wouldn't have minded growing up with the life of luxury I was entitled to. What I'm trying to explain to you is that my childhood might not have been this perfect image that you imagine it would have been.
I'm sorry, Vivian. I'm so sorry for bringing you into such a complicated mess. My hope is that you find a way to forgive me for the mistakes I made before you were even born.
Are you saying that you don't think Sean is alive? It's every parent's worst nightmare. Try to relax, Faiboon. There's no evidence that Sean is no longer living. Most of all, there are still no clues as to where he could be. Don't jump to conclusions. But with everything you do know, do you honestly believe that there's a chance that my son is still alive, Ben? But I also wouldn't have minded growing up with the life of luxury I was entitled to. What I'm trying to explain to you is that my childhood might not have been this perfect image that you imagine it would have been.
I'm sorry, Vivian. I'm so sorry for bringing you into such a complicated mess. My hope is that you find a way to forgive me for the mistakes I made before you were even born.
Don't jump to conclusions. But with everything you do know, do you honestly believe that there's a chance that my son is still alive, Ben? What happened in this school, in this library, has nothing to do with Dee Dee.
At least she wants to help, Nichelle. Yvette was here too, and she don't even want to testify in court.
Can I help you, Nichelle? Save the innocent girl act, Yvette. I know what you've done.
Did he say what he wanted? Fine, let him in.
You seem a bit worn out, Viv. Rough day at work? I'm just trying to figure something out, Pacho.
What's bothering you?
I don't know how to figure out Lorenzo. He claims that he wants to see me succeed as the Russo Jewelers CEO, but I don't know if I can take his word for it when I took the company away from him. I swear, you Russo men never know how to express your feelings. What do you mean, Nona? You all have this cloud above your heads, but can't bring yourself to have the decency to grab yourselves an umbrella. Fine. The other day, I heard Nono literally pleading for Vivian's forgiveness. What do you mean, Nichelle? What do you think I've done? It's not about what I think, Yvette. I know that you're not gonna testify against Keith Burke in court. How did you find that out? Thank your old friend Dee. Emphasis on old friend. So why are you two no longer friends? What are you doing here, Ben? Your mother hired me to find your younger brother. I don't need a reminder, and I don't think that answers my question either. Then you don't need a reminder that you were the last person to see Sean. Do you know if there's a possibility that he was being followed before he disappeared? Lorenzo is getting old, Viv. He might actually be willing to retire since it's clear that Russo Jewelers is in capable hands. But he's so eager to build this bond with me. You are his daughter after all, obviously. But I've been without a father till Isaac came into my life. Even though he tried to wear those shoes, it didn't fill the void that I felt, Pacho. And now that you've met Lorenzo, I guess you're trying to say that he's not able to fit into the shoes that you pictured your father would be wearing? It makes me sick, knowing that you had to experience that, Alan. Just picturing that makes me feel embarrassed. How could your Nono sink that low as to look that weak in front of his bastard? It won't be long until Nono gets back to leading this family with an iron fist. He'll think twice about begging Vivian for anything after her event turns into a complete disaster. You're right. Seeing Russo Jewelers face public scrutiny will wake your Nono up, but I'm concerned that it will cause his wrath to pour on us. Dee proved to me that I can no longer trust her. Can't say that I'm surprised since I don't trust her either. And it annoys me that Zeke still does. Don't worry, Nichelle. Eventually Zeke will see Dee's true colors. Yeah, but I'm worried that we'll both be hurt if he realizes it too late. But don't try to change the subject, Yvette. I'd still like to know why you won't testify against the monster who took my sister from me. Why do you want to know if someone was following Sean? Your mother made a plea for your brother to come back home on national television. She believes it's strange that he hasn't reached out yet. Probably because he's too ashamed of what he's done to reach out. Plus, since he's trying to stay hidden, I doubt he'd risk contacting my mother. Let me ask you this then. Do you think that your brother is still alive? Growing up, I would have all of these different imaginations of how my daddy was like. You can imagine how surprised I was when I found out that my daddy was a rich white man old enough to be my granddaddy. Does that disappoint you? The rich part don't disappoint me at all, Pacho. I just can't let that man into my heart. It would only make me weak, and being weak will cause me to lose Russo Jewelers for good. What makes you so sure that Lorenzo will try to snatch the company away from you, Viv? The fact that I snatched it from him makes me certain that my daddy won't ever get my full trust. Do you think Nono would be mad at us forever? Especially when the plan is to publicly expose that Vivian lied on her interview with Quinlan and that she fooled all of us to get Russo Jewelers? I believe Nono should be upset at Vivian for not being able to keep her own event under control. That's what he should do. But I fear that he will blame us for the failure of the event. Let's say he does. What's the worst he can do to us, Nona? Your Nono still has a will, Alan. He could write all of us out of it and hand everything to that spawn. The deed to this house, everything. Are you trying to tell me that you're having second thoughts about blowing up Vivian's event? The day that Yulissa lost her life was the worst experience of my life. Yulissa was my little sister Yvette. No matter how bad my day gets, It will never top the day she was taken from me. All I'm trying to say is that I don't want to be constantly reminded of it. The fact that Ulissa is no longer here isn't something I can forget. I get that, Nichelle. I really do. But I've got a baby to think about. I'd like to make sure that he or she is born healthy. The last thing I want is the stress of facing Keeve again. Take it from me. Whenever I think of that demon, my blood boils. Testifying against him makes me feel like I'm taking back the power he took from me that day. What makes you think that Sean is no longer alive? For one, it's like he vanished off of the face of the earth, and you still haven't answered whether you believe that he was being followed. Who do you think would have been following him? It certainly wasn't the police. Maybe a family rival could have noticed that Sean was without any protection, vulnerable. Maybe Sean pushed the wrong buttons and that person wants revenge. Does my mother know about your little conspiracy, Ben? She does. So I suggest that you offer me any information you can. If you can't, then I might have to tell your mother someday that she might have to prepare to bury a son. I get it, Viv. Having a complicated relationship with my own father, I can understand how it's difficult for you to trust yours. Well, I get why you'll never trust Devontae Torres again. He took my older sister's life. What a dark reminder. But at least Lorenzo didn't take anyone's life. Still, it's hard to figure that man out. The thing is that before I told the Russos who I was, Ben felt like Lorenzo would welcome me with open arms if I had just been honest with him from the jump. I don't know if I can ever see him as my dad in a proper way after everything that happened. I'm not having second thoughts, Alan. I still need to figure out how to bring your Nono onto our side. For starters, Nono hasn't divorced you for keeping Vivian a secret for all these years. He'll see sense and remember that we're his proper family and that Vivian isn't.
Scheming against Vivian, I see.
Would you actually want to see me, the father of your only child, live a life of pain without the woman I love? Yes, Isidore. I truly do want you to feel the pain that I'm going through. I understand that admitting to what I've done will offer a simple resolution, but it will cause a lot of pain.
And I understand that, Wanda, which is why I'm gonna give Owen a taste of his own medicine. He almost made me drop my endorsement for Heidi, and I'll figure out how to make Pacho drop his endorsement for Owen.
For starters, Nono hasn't divorced you for keeping Vivian a secret for all these years. He'll see sense and remember that we're his proper family and that Vivian isn't.
Scheming against Vivian, I see.
What can I do for you, Udell?
It's more about what I can do for you, Pacho. But I'm not in any legal trouble. Maybe not. But that makes me wonder if you truly believe you won't get yourself into any trouble by keeping your endorsement for Owen Grant. One of you better spill. What scheme are you two cooking up against Vivian?
Relax, Nono. We're not scheming against Vivian at all.
Don't you dare insult my intelligence, Alan. I know what I heard.
But you certainly didn't hear everything, Lorenzo. Stop being so foolish. It's pathetic. Most of all, it's pathetic that you will defend that bastard by scolding your own wife and grandson. What's the long face for, Nashette? I'm just thinking about Zeke, and I feel like staying with him will only make me hurt again. Isidore, I don't see what else we have to discuss. Nothing you say or do will convince me to forget that you've blackmailed Terry for years. I wouldn't have endorsed Owen to begin with if he didn't prove himself to be trustworthy. And I'm here to explain to you that trusting that man was a serious mistake. If you're referring to my mother speaking on how she won't support Owen for the election, then you need to remember that she also expressed that she won't be supporting Heidi either. And Isabel has every right not to support either candidate.
Unlike your mother, I know exactly why you can't trust Owen at all. Vivian has been an outsider for far too long. I refuse to leave this world with that still being the case. Again, no. Nona and I aren't scheming against her. Even if we were, then scheming against Vivian would offer her a warm welcome into our family. I'm not in the mood for your jokes, Alan. Do you and your Nona plan to ruin Vivian's event? That girl is inexperienced, Lorenzo. Whatever goes wrong will be her doing, not ours. What did Zeke do? He's still friends with Dee Dee, Mom, and I still don't trust her. What exactly are you afraid would happen if the two of them remain as friends? They've got a lot in common, since I didn't grow up like they did. It's like Zeke feels like Dee Dee understands him more than I ever will. That fact alone could make Dee Dee turn Zeke against me. Are you saying that you're worried that Dee Dee will want Zeke to herself, Nichelle? You're talking to me as if it was your grandparents' lives which ended due to Terry, which makes you look even worse. You were more concerned about controlling that lady rather than ensuring that your grandparents received justice. Blackmailing Terry was my way of getting justice, Harley. Do you think Isabel will feel the same way if she realizes that refusing to turn Terry in allowed Terry to give birth to the very person who took Ulysses' life? How exactly do you know that Owen isn't trustworthy, Udell? You're the one endorsing the man. How about you ask him? I've already asked if there's any skeletons in Owen's closet. He assured me that there weren't. And you didn't even run a background check on him? I expected better from you, Pacho. Why are you even telling me about this if you're not even gonna tell me what he's done? Because I came by to warn you. The numbers don't lie, Clarice. According to the numbers, Vivian is doing an excellent job as CEO. I guess your statement answers my question, Clarice. Oh, get over yourself, Lorenzo. No one is going after your precious bastard. That's right, because if you try coming after my daughter, then I will stop you in the snap of a finger. Is that so? How exactly would you plan to do that, if your theory is correct? I certainly don't know what you're up to, but I will definitely inform Vivian and she will keep a close eye on you both. And you just be wasting your time because there is no scheme, Lorenzo. Good, which means that Vivian's event will run smoothly either way. But what would you do to us if it turns out to be a disaster, Nono? Would you actually blame us instead of Vivian? Zeke cheated on me before. With him being this close to Dee Dee, then that means history could repeat itself. If that boy has the nerve to betray you again, then he was never worthy of you to begin with, Nichelle. I know that, Mom, but it doesn't hurt any less since I love him. And I can't have my heart broken again, not when we're getting ready to face Kiev in court. You need help, Harley. Find a good counselor because it's clear that you haven't healed from the pain you endured in our marriage. Let me take a page out of your book then. Maybe this is my way of healing, Isidore. Consider this as a form of payback since you got full custody of Alan all those years ago. Are you seriously going to blackmail me so that you can keep me from the woman I love? The woman I've always loved? Even when we were married? If I have to live the rest of my life without Finnegan, a man who actually loved me, then I think it's only fair that you live the rest of your days without the woman you love. Blackmail, Harley? Can't you lose your legal license because of that? Guess I can report you to the board then, huh? What are you trying to warn me about? You were born in Valley Park, Pacho. So was I, which means that we're both aware that secrets have a way of coming out into the light. Whatever Owen is hiding, just brace yourself for the fallout, whether it's revealed before or after the election. Vivian has been working her butt off to ensure that her event is successful. It would only become a failure if either of you are involved. We have been married for about 50 years, Lorenzo. It sickens me to hear that you'd forsake the family we built together just to see the product of your adulterous behavior succeed. Normal couples usually go to marriage counseling to fix the issues in their marriage, but not us. Not you, Clarice. No, you.
Just hide children from the man you married just so you could try to keep the family together. Let me say this once. If either of you ruin this for Vivian, there will be consequences, and I mean it. Are you ready to face Keith in court? I've been ready for a long time, Mom. What about you? Not only them. Isidore, when I lost Julissa, life seemed so hopeless. But you never gave up on me. Being with you again, I forget how being loved by you made me feel so alive. And I don't want to lose that again, Isidore. I can't. You won't. I'll make sure of it. I sure hope so, Nisha. I swear, Isidore, I hate you. I hate you with every fiber of my being. That's old news, Harley. If you report to me, I will march over to Isabel right now. Here's the thing. I've already lost Russo Jewelers because my father had an angry baby out of wedlock. If I lose Isabel, then I have nothing left to lose. But if the board finds out that she blackmailed me, you could lose everything, Harley. Why do you always have to take something from me? How come you always have to hurt me? Does that mean we have a deal? Secrets have a way of coming out into the light. Whatever Owen is hiding, just brace yourself for the fallout, whether it's revealed before or after the election. So I suggest that you offer me any information you can. If you can't, then I might have to tell your mother someday that she might have to prepare to bury a son. Are you seriously going to blackmail me so that you can keep me from the woman I love? The woman I've always loved? Even when we were married? If I have to live the rest of my life without Finnegan, a man who actually loved me, then I think it's only fair that you live the rest of your days without the woman you love. Blackmail, Harley? Can't you lose your legal license because of that? Guess I can report you to the board then, huh? I really hope this is good news, Udell. With the three of us in this room, we really don't need to turn this into a shouting match. This is a conversation which will benefit us all. How so? I planted doubt in Pacho's mind about Owen. Why did you call me here, Mr. Torres? I need you to be straight with me, Owen. Are you sure you're not hiding something from me? Something that would hinder your campaign if it comes to light? Isidore, I didn't expect to see you here. Expect to see me around here more often, Isabel. You're beginning to worry me, Ben. What is this about? It's about Sean. Okay, I think you need to prepare yourself for the fact that we might not be able to find him alive. What did you say to him, Udell? I would like to know the answer to that as well. Did you tell Pacho that Owen kissed Wanda behind your back? All I told Pacho was that I knew something about Owen that he didn't know. And now we wait. Wait? Just so we can give Owen enough time to try and convince Pacho that he has nothing to hide? I thought we already discussed the fact that nothing about my life would create a scandal. I know what we discussed, Owen. Except I made a foolish choice on my part by taking your word for it, and not doing a background check all because you work for the DA's office. Where is this sudden skepticism even coming from? Udell Mitchell certainly seems to have an idea of what you're hiding from me. Isidore, there are people around. I'm fully aware of that. I'd like to show the world how much I love you. I know that we agreed that you'd stand by my side during Keithberg's sentencing, but I at least wanted to get the chance to tell my children first. Sorry, Isabel. Guess I just got too carried away. Honestly, I wasn't sure if you'd go through with what we agreed, Isidore. What do you mean Sean might not be alive? What did you find out, Ben? Fiboon expressed how concerned she is since Sean still hasn't reached out since your interview with her. We just need to give it more time. That woman knows her son, Quinlan. She's an Apina. Her sons are traffickers, so she might not know them as much as she'd like to believe. Owen can try to gaslight Pacho all he'd like, but we all know that the man has something to hide. But since Udell didn't explain to Pacho exactly what Owen did, Owen has a perfect opportunity to make Udell seem like he was only being manipulative. The manipulative one is Owen, and I'm certain that Pacho is smart enough to figure it out on his own, just like I figured out how you manipulated me and my family. What exactly did Udell tell you? What does Udell know that I don't? Don't you realize how Udell is just doing what I said he'd do? Working with the Russos and their vows, just like I said, turning us against one another. You know why my father's in prison, Owen, and I didn't like being manipulated by him, which also means that I won't stand to be manipulated by anyone else. I'm not trying to manipulate you, Mr. Torres. Then tell me why Udell has an issue with you. I love you, Isabel. You know that. Why would you think that I'd let you face Keith in court without me? And you have no idea how much I appreciate your support, Isidore. I'm ready to see you listen get justice and find a way to keep on moving forward, no matter how hard moving forward without my baby will be. Well, I'm looking forward to moving forward by your side. I can't even believe this is happening, us being together like this. I never thought this would ever happen again. Honestly, I had my doubts, but I never lost hope that we'd find our way back to each other, Isabel. They have plenty of enemies, Quinlan. Enemies who would take the chance to go after Sean when he was vulnerable, the moment he ran off. You mean the moment when Wade hid him from the world? Because Wade still wants us and the rest of the world to believe that Sean ran off on his own. But there's a possibility that Wade could be telling the truth. Are you serious? Yes, Quinlan, I am. Because I have to accept that there's a chance Sean did run off on his own, but didn't get far. Since there's no body, then I'm gonna still believe that he's out there somewhere so that he can face what he did to Danny Clark. We can't forget that we all have a common enemy. Owen tried to manipulate you against me by telling you that I schemed against you without any evidence. Except you never denied it. What matters is that Owen loses his endorsement for Pacho. Losing his endorsement from a member of Valley Park's most influential family will cause him to lose any chance at becoming the next district attorney, which means I won't have to put in more work into my campaign, since Pacho dropping his endorsement also means that I've already won the election. When Yvette Mitchell made those false claims against Max Russo, Wanda Mitchell and I became good friends. Udell had a problem with me ever since. And that's all. Because Udell never trusted me, he doesn't want to see me succeed, which means he feels like you shouldn't trust me either. You must have been frustrated with me if you've been waiting this long. I was only frustrated with myself, Isabel. Losing you was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I promise to do whatever it takes never to lose you again. You better hold on to that promise. Quinlan, you know that hoping Sean is alive doesn't mean that he is. Just like you know that he isn't alive just because Phiboon fears that he isn't. Again, I'm just trying to get you to prepare for the worst case scenario. Until then, I'll focus on proving that Wade is hiding his younger brother from Phiboon, because that's what's making Phiboon believe the worst. No one is going after your precious bastard. That's right. Because if you try coming after my daughter, then I will stop you in the snap of a finger. Is that so? How exactly would you plan to do that? If your theory is correct. I certainly don't know what you're up to, but I will definitely inform Vivian and she will keep a close eye on you both. You know why my father's in prison, Owen, and I didn't like being manipulated by him, which also means that I won't stand to be manipulated by anyone else. I'm not trying to manipulate you, Mr. Torres. Then tell me why Udell has an issue with you. What are you doing here, Pacho? I'd like to know if you're aware of what Owen Grant has done to upset Udell Mitchell. Alright, Owen. Explain to me why you're in my office wasting both of our time. You sure had enough time to make Pacho Torres doubt me the other day. What's this pressing news you felt like I should know, Lorenzo? It's Clarice and Alan, and those two are scheming with one another against you, Vivian. Why did you two decide to meet me here? Because it's too risky to have you stop by the estate, Mom. How come, Alan? Because Lorenzo realized that we're scheming against Vivian and doesn't want anything bad to happen to that bastard of his. It seems like it's difficult for you to trust Owen. Maybe you should discuss that with him, since you're the one supporting him. I've already had a discussion with Owen, Jeremiah. What did he tell you? Most of all, did you like what you heard? Owen told me how Udell has an issue with him because of his friendship with Wanda Mitchell, but I have a feeling that there's more to the story. Did Pacho tell you that he knew you've kissed my wife? We both know how Pacho implied that I was hiding something, Udell. I don't see what you're mad for. You haven't told him that you kissed Wanda. Most of all, Pacho is still in the dark, which means you have nothing to worry about. Here's what I'd like to know. Why are you still supporting D.A. Russo when she tried to wreck your marriage just to go after your daughter? I ain't worried about them, Lorenzo. Whatever they got planned ain't gonna affect me one bit. Don't underestimate Clarice. Are you kidding me? I've been living with y'all at the estate for all these months, and I know for sure that Clarice ain't some evil mastermind. No, but after all the years that I've been married to her, I never once imagined that she would ever hide the fact that I had another child out there in the world. How did Lorenzo find out what you two were up to? Nono overheard me speaking with Nona, but he doesn't know that we plan to crash Vivian's event to expose that spawn for the schemer she is. Why did you two have to discuss the plan without me present to begin with? Your son was upset, Harley. I wanted to know what was going on. What happened, Alan? I overheard Nono pleading for Vivian's forgiveness because he was an absent father. It was so cringe, since it felt like something straight out of Full House. Well, your grandfather has nothing to apologize for. In fact, if anyone should apologize, it should be your grandmother. And you stopped by my house to ask me if I know anything? Do you? If you're not sure that you can trust Owen, then I suggest you stop supporting him. But that's what you want me to do, right? Look, I'm not gonna make a rash decision because I don't know who's manipulating me. This is a Christian household, Pacho. As a born-again Christian, it's not my intention to manipulate anyone. You can take my word for it. If Udell warned you not to trust Owen, then I'd listen to him. I'm not supporting Heidi because I want to. Are you saying that D.A. Russo gave you no other choice but to keep on endorsing her? Did you make the fullest decision to tell her that Wanda and I shared an intimate moment and blackmailing you with that information? Let me remind you that you're in my law firm, Owen. So watch how you speak to me in my office. I don't like what Heidi has done, but I certainly hate what you've done to my family as well. And I don't want to see you become the next district attorney. Fine. But what about Wanda? How would she feel if she ever found out that you've encouraged Pacho to try and figure out what went on between your wife and I? I've already accepted that Clarice threatened my mother to stay away from your family. Sounds like you need to accept history, Lorenzo. Have you honestly gotten over it, Vivian? As you can see, I've successfully obtained what your wife tried to keep me from. What I've got now makes up for lost time. Does it? I wouldn't have said it if it weren't true, Lorenzo. There's no doubt in my mind that Shirley was an excellent mother to you growing up, but it doesn't erase the fact that you spent the earliest days of your life without a father. And you know that I was there for Gianni, Isidore, and even Elvira. When Clarice gave birth to a girl, I adored that girl. But you never got to experience what Elvira experienced growing up. No amount of money will ever make up for any lost time between us, Vivian. I will never apologize for trying to keep my family together. Except you couldn't protect the family company, Clarice, which is why we're working together in the first place. And we need to keep that in mind. We can't argue with one another while Vivian is still CEO. Now that Nono is aware that we're going against her, Vivian's gonna keep a closer eye on us. Not all of us, Alan. Neither your grandfather nor Vivian knows that I'm working with you too. That fact alone will help our plan to succeed. What are you doing here, Pacho?
Glad you can join us, Shelley. I was asking your husband here what Owen Grant is hiding from me. Would you like to add anything?
There is nothing I can add because I don't know what Owen's done. Jeremiah made it perfectly clear that it wasn't his place to say anything.
Thank you for your time. You two have a lovely day.
Is that it, Jeremiah? Whatever Heidi has blackmailed Owen with has something to do with Owen? Please don't expect me to answer that. Do you at least think Pacha will figure it out? Whether he does or not, I don't see this ending well for Owen's campaign.
I promise you, Owen, if I hear that you've gone anywhere near Wanda,
I'm sure she'd turn the opposite direction once we lock eyes.
Good. Like I said, Pacho has no idea that Wanda has anything to do with what you're hiding from him, because I made sure to keep my wife's name out of it.
But you still gave him the opportunity to try and find out.
If you ever cared about Wanda, then I suggest you drop out of the race so that Pacho doesn't find out. Now get out of my office.
You had enough time to reach out to my mama after she left Valley Park. For a long time, I thought that getting involved with your mother was the biggest mistake of my life, which is why I never went searching for her. But looking at you, I realized that letting her leave without an explanation will be my biggest regret. I don't really got time to listen to your sorrows, Lorenzo. While you're sad over the past, I've got to make sure I bring Russo Jewelers into the future. Since Lorenzo has no idea what we're up to, I don't believe that our plan is in jeopardy. And it won't be as long as I take over from now on.
I beg your pardon?
Would you like me to order you a hearing aid, Clarice? Because it's clear that it's time for you to get one.
I'm warning you, Harley.
Nona, I think Mom might be right. Not about the hearing aid, of course, but her taking over this plan will secure our plan's success. We can't risk seeing Vivian get a positive reception from this event of hers next month. No matter how much Nono is threatening us, Vivian can't remain CEO for much longer.
I will never apologize for trying to keep my family together.
Except you couldn't protect the family company, Clarice, which is why we're working together in the first place. I can't even believe this is happening, us being together like this. I never thought this would ever happen again. Honestly, I had my doubts, but I never lost hope that we'd find our way back to each other, Isabel. Let me make it clear to you that I don't want to see Keeve again at all. All I want to do is make sure that justice is served. Proper justice. There aren't enough people who will testify against him, Vanessa. Enough testimonies to keep that weirdo in prison for the rest of his life. I'm not worried that he'll make parole. What worries me is that Keeve will keep on living while Ulysses is not here.
Why do I feel like Vivian is the reason for your bad mood today, Shirley? Get out of my face, Vivian.
This is how you treat your only stepdaughter on Easter weekend?
You will never be considered as a daughter of mine.
That's your loss. But I'm here to discuss business with you, Clarice. I'm aware that you and Alan are cooking up some scheme against me. Now's your chance to lay it all out. Looks like you've got a lot on your mind, Vanessa. It's just that enjoying our Good Friday meal as a family, Ulysses should be here, Mom. By now, her fight against her eating disorder would have gotten better to the point where she could have joined us today. I really wish she was still here.
It's important that you mark the date. I don't want any interruptions when I speak with ADA Grant in my office. What's going on?
Mom has something to tell us, Pacho.
It must be serious.
It is. Nichelle, Pacho, I don't want either of you to be surprised by the time Keith Burke is sentenced. You're beginning to worry me, Mom. Don't be. I'll get to the point. Isidore will be standing by our side.
Why do we need him, Ma?
You might not need him, Bacho, but I do. Isidore and I, we're seeing each other. I hate how I can't enjoy Good Friday in peace, Isaac. It bothers me that Vivian won't even show up and doesn't plan to attend church this Easter.
Sunday hasn't arrived yet, Shirley. We can still pray that Vivian can change her mind so that she can join us at church.
At this point, I've been praying to the Lord with tear-filled eyes when it comes to that girl. Being CEO of Russo Jewelers has kept Vivian from her family.
Do you think she's not willing to be around us since you refused to attend her Russo Jewelers event next month? I don't know what Lorenzo told you, girl, but there is no scheme.
How sad. I thought you'd know by now that you can't fool me, lady. You might as well tell me what you and that grandson of yours are planning before you both embarrass yourselves.
Let me make something clear to you. I have lived in this house long before you or your mother were even thought of. I will not allow you to mock me, not on this holy weekend.
Here we go again. You acting holier than thou when you treat my mama and I as nothing more than gum that needs to be scraped off of your bougie shoes. Since Ulissa received God's gift of salvation, she's now fully healed in the presence of Jesus, celebrating her first Easter in heaven. And I'm happy for her mom. She's experiencing true joy now and for all of eternity. But that doesn't make you miss Ulissa any less. It hasn't even been a year since her life was taken, and I miss her more each day, which makes me so eager to see Keith executed for taking my best friend from me.
You've got to be kidding me.
How long have you been seeing Isidore Russo, Mom? For quite some time. The two of us wanted to see where our relationship would go before we said anything to anyone.
Can you honestly say that this thing you've got with Isidore would actually last or even go anywhere?
I wouldn't have said anything to either of you if I felt like it wasn't a possibility.
A possibility? Ma, have you forgotten how Isidore tried to take Theodosius' palace away from us?
Isaac, you already know that I will never support the fact that Vivian is in charge of that company. As for her behavior over my stance, it's hurtful.
And you know that I'd never ask you to go against your convictions, Shirley.
But you want me to put something in consideration.
Maybe you can meet your daughter halfway.
How?
Would it truly hurt if you actually attend this event which Vivian is hosting? Your whore of a mother had no respect for the vows Lorenzo and I made, seducing my husband to defile my marriage. As if my mama is some witch who put a spell on that man. Lorenzo was more than capable of keeping his hands to himself, Clarice. Like I said, don't try to act like a good Catholic woman when you refuse to forgive my mama. In fact, I'm sure that you were eager for my mama and I to head straight to purgatory when my sanctified Baptist mama found peace in God's forgiveness. Because you and that slut who brought you into this world deserve to be in purgatory.
And you deserve to go straight to hell for the sins you've committed after you found out Lorenzo got my mama pregnant. Till that day comes, I'll make sure to make your life hell on earth. Since you're up there in age, it won't be very long.
If you lay one finger on my daughter, then you'll regret it for the rest of your days, Clarice.
I understand your frustration, Vanessa. Keith deserves to lose his life for taking Ulysses' life. In fact, he deserves a life separate from God for all eternity. Please don't try to tell me that I shouldn't wish hell on him and that I shouldn't focus on revenge. My main concern is getting justice for Ulysses. Everyone wants justice, Vanessa. And though Keith deserves punishment, our Savior gave his life on the cross for scum like Keith as well. Can you try to remember that today and at least consider finding some sort of way to forgive him, even after he's sentenced? Our hotel is not something Isidore is interested in going after.
How are you so sure, Ma?
Just leave it, Bacho. Can you give our mother some credit? She's a grown woman who knows exactly what she's doing. And everyone in this room knows what Isidore Russo is capable of, which also means that everything he does has an agenda. I have known that man longer than either of you. By now, I'd know whenever he'd have an agenda or not. Are you saying that because you don't want to believe that the man you first loved is up to no good? Are you serious? Attending that event will only make Vivian think I finally supported her position at Russo Jewelers. From what I understand, the event is only focused on showcasing new jewelry designs of the employees at this company. It might be something you'd like to see. Alright, I can see where you're coming from, but I still don't know if I should go. Vivian has made it clear that she wants to taste everything that the world has to offer. As her mother, just try to keep her as close as you can so that you can remind her that Jesus offers her everything she needs. I now understand why Shirley was terrified of staying in Valley Park the moment she discovered that she was pregnant. Don't you dare try to paint me as a goblin, Lorenzo. Your little spawn here pushed me to it. And this Disney villain you married tried pushing my buttons. Clarice, you know that Vivian isn't going anywhere. If that is truly the case, Lorenzo, then this family will fall and never get back up again. Are you okay? You came in at the right time, Lorenzo. I don't know why Clarice ain't thank you, because if she were to hit me, then she would have been knocked to the ground right after. It would be easier to forgive Keith if the judge gives him the right sentence. And what if Keith doesn't get the sentence you want, Vanessa? Besides, forgiving someone usually isn't easy, no matter what they've done. Mom, you know how much Keith has hurt me. Scratch that, he terrorized me in the worst way imaginable. Not only did he stalk me for months, and most of the time without my knowledge, but took Ulysses' life and wounded Max right in front of my eyes. On top of that, he was about to take my life because I refused to accept his sick form of his so-called love for me. I know, baby. Most of all, God knows, but his word does not change. Forgiving Keith will keep you in right fellowship with the Lord. Letting go of that bitterness will free you. I want to make it clear that you never have to like him or even forget all that Keith has done, but don't let that boy control you for the rest of your life with this anger that he has consumed you with for months. Pacho, Mom isn't asking for our permission. Exactly. Your permission isn't anything that I need. Being with Isidore is my choice. I can't argue with you there, Ma. But I want to make this very clear. If that man hurts you one more time, I will make sure that he regrets the day he ever laid eyes on you. But I've got a baby to think about. I like to make sure that he or she is born healthy. The last thing I want is the stress of facing Keith again. Take it from me. Whenever I think of that demon, my blood boils. Testifying against him makes me feel like I'm taking back the power he took from me that day. Losing you was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I promise to do whatever it takes never to lose you again. You better hold on to that promise. Quinlan, you know that hoping Sean is alive doesn't mean that he is. Just like you know that he isn't alive just because Phiboon fears that he isn't. Again, I'm just trying to get you to prepare for the worst case scenario. Until then, I'll focus on proving that Wade is hiding his younger brother from Phiboon, because that's what's making Phiboon believe the worst. Thank you for your time. You two have a lovely day. Do you at least think Pacha will figure it out? Whether he does or not, I don't see this ending well for Owen's campaign. I hope that we can have a positive discussion this time around, Mr. Torres. So do I. What's this all about? I asked you to stop by to inform you that I'm dropping my endorsement. Why did you gather us here, Isidore? Because I'd like to let you all know about something important before you hear it somewhere else. I don't like the sound of this. It's okay, Mom. This is great news. It's about Isabel. Hearing you mention Isabel Torres' name doesn't make me eager to hear this news, Dad. We'll get over it, Alan, because Isabel and I agreed to get back together. Is everything okay? That's what your father and I wanted to ask you, Yvette. What do you mean?
We wanted to know how you've been feeling with Keith's sentencing coming up. We've noticed how silent you've been about the entire thing.
That's because I'm not going to testify against him in court.
What's been bothering you, Mom?
We need to gather the other families to have a serious discussion. A serious discussion about what? What else, Wade? We need to figure out whether the other families played a hand in your younger brother's disappearance. I thought we had an agreement the last time we spoke.
Our initial agreement was that I would endorse you as long as you weren't playing me. And we both know that you've been hiding some very dark secrets from me, Owen.
How sad. I can't believe that you've allowed Udell Mitchell to corrupt your mind.
Let me make this very clear to you. No one corrupts my mind, especially you.
How did you even convince Isabel to take you back when she was furious at us for trying to take over Theodosius' palace last year?
That's a good question.
Clearly, she found it in her heart to forgive me.
I wasn't sure if I would ever see this day, Isidore.
Now you know for sure, Mom.
Exactly how long do you expect this relationship to last?
Nona, can I have a moment alone with my dad?
By all means, Alan. It gives your Nono and I some time to process such shocking news.
Alan, if you're gonna try to convince me that I'm making a mistake, Mom was very clear that she'd tell Isabel that you've been blackmailing Dr. Murphy for all these years if you ever get back with Isabel. How did you get Mom to change her mind? How come you won't testify, Yvette? You witnessed what happened that awful day. So did plenty of other people, Mom. Keith pled guilty and they're gonna testify against him, which means that he won't be getting parole and will be in prison for the rest of his miserable life.
We understand that, but your mother and I thought that testifying against him would help you to heal.
You and Mom were wrong.
Let me guess. Ben made you believe that the other families were involved.
It's a possibility. Maybe the other families were watching Sean. They may have waited for the perfect opportunity to go after him when he was vulnerable. Don't you understand how you sound like a conspiracy theorist? Don't let Ben Russo make you so paranoid, Mom. This is not paranoia, Wade. I'm trying to look at all of the options to try and figure out what happened to your brother. Have you forgotten that Ben tried to turn you against me? I hired that man to try and locate Sean. I take what he says seriously. You should be grateful that he's not asking me to look into you and to look at other believable options. Why else would Sean go this long without contacting us? What I'm trying to say is that we were a good team before Udell tried to make you believe that I'm this lying opportunist.
And we would have made a great team if you were honest from the very beginning.
I never once lied to you, Mr. Torres.
Give it up, Owen. You can't convince me otherwise. Good luck on your campaign.
I won't have a campaign if you withdraw your endorsement.
There's no ifs about it. I'm no longer endorsing you. Guess you should have came up with a plan B.
You're gonna regret this.
For your sake, I really hope that you're not threatening me.
Your mother and I reached an understanding. Would Mom say the same thing if I were to ask her?
Stay out of it, Alan.
Trust me, I know better than to get in between your battles with Mom. What do you plan to do if Isabel discovers that you didn't report the woman who gave birth to the guy who took her daughter's life to the police?
Easy. Isabel will never find out.
Baby, if you're afraid, then you don't need to be. Keith Burke can't hurt you anymore. Are you sure about that, Mom? I'm not gonna risk having a panic attack while I'm pregnant. Your father and I will have your back all the way through. Don't think about the worst case scenario.
Yvette, if you really don't want to testify, then we won't force you.
I guess this conversation is over. You can't continue to be overprotective, Udell. Our daughter needs to heal from her trauma.
What will it take for you to accept that Sean wants to stay away from us? Probably forever.
Your brother has been pampered all of his life. It makes no sense for him to just naturally know how to take care of himself. Figuring out how to survive might give him no other choice, which is why I need you to arrange for us to meet with the other families, Wade. I need to know if Sean survived before going on the run. Just knock it off, Mom. The other families didn't do anything to Sean. I'm not threatening you at all, Mr. Torres. How do you think the public will respond when they discover that you dropped your endorsement? That's your problem to figure out. And you can do that outside of my office. Most of all, never ask me for anything ever again. Thank you for answering. Pacho, why are you calling me? And how did you even get my number? Don't worry about that. I need you to meet me at Theodosius' palace. We have a lot to discuss, Isidore. If I was overprotective, then Yvette wouldn't have fallen pregnant. And we can't change the past, Udell. Yvette probably fell pregnant because she couldn't handle the trauma of almost losing her life. Which is why I want to make sure that Yvette can learn how to live a normal life despite what she's been through. I don't want her to miss out on the chance to face Kiev for messing up her life the way he has. You seem absolutely sure of that, Wade. How come? The other families would never go after Sean without expecting any consequences. Organizing a meeting with the other families is my decision and my decision alone, Mom. Just knock it off, Mom. The other families didn't do anything to Sean. You seem absolutely sure of that, Wade. How come? The other families would never go after Sean without expecting any consequences. Organizing a meeting with the other families is my decision and my decision alone, Mom. Good luck on your campaign. I won't have a campaign if you withdraw your endorsement. There's no ifs about it. I'm no longer endorsing you. Guess you should have came up with a plan B. You're gonna regret this. For your sake, I really hope that you're not threatening me. Pacho, why are you calling me? And how did you even get my number? Don't worry about that. I need you to meet me at Theodosius' palace. We have a lot to discuss, Isidore. And you deserve to go straight to hell for the sins you've committed after you found out Lorenzo got my mama pregnant. Till that day comes, I'll make sure to make your life hell on earth. Since you're up there in age, it won't be very long. If you lay one finger on my daughter, then you'll regret it for the rest of your days, Clarice. Sorry to disappoint you, Fiboon, but I don't have any updates for you about where Sean could be. I think you are right, Ben. Right about what? Wade. I believe that he hasn't been honest with me. Can I get you anything, Clarice? I don't plan to stay here long, Shirley. Besides, any memory of tasting your cooking leaves a bad taste in my mouth after the wickedness you've committed against my family. So why are you here then? I wanted to know how you feel about the fact that your daughter is getting close to Lorenzo. Why did you call me here to meet with you, Pacho? Don't ask me questions that you already know the answer to. Seems like your mother told you that she gave me another chance. Yeah, and we both know how that's not good for her at all. What are you doing here, Owen? I haven't been banned from Theodosius' palace, just like you banned me from Confidence Designs. Will Udell be joining you? Thankfully, I'm here to enjoy some me time. Just tell me what you want and go away. You should know that Pacho Torres dropped his endorsement, Wanda, and your husband is to blame. What made you doubt your oldest son? I asked Wade to set up a meeting with the other families who operates in a similar way that my family does. When he refused to do so, he seemed so certain that they had nothing to do with Sean's disappearance. Have you expressed these concerns to Wade? Not exactly. When I asked him how he was so certain that the other families were innocent without even confronting them, he brushed it off. What do you think Wade could be hiding from you? I wasn't aware that Vivian and Lorenzo were getting close at all. In fact, Vivian has already expressed to me that she ain't trying to bond with her father. We're both aware that Lorenzo was never a father to that girl when she was growing up. Are you telling me that you, as her only parent, never realized that she had any desire to be loved by her father? What's your point, Clarice? Are you not aware that once Vivian and Lorenzo begin to bond as father and daughter, then she will immediately forget about you? Your mother forgave me for trying to help Alan take over this hotel. On top of that, I never once came after you for helping Vivian to take over Russo Jewelers for your mother's sake. If you really care about my mother, then how come you wouldn't stay away when you know that she deserves better? Because I love her, and she loves me. Save it, Isidore. I know how miserable you made Harley Drake when you two were married. And we both know how Alan turned out since you got full custody of him. Don't expect me to believe that you love anyone else other than yourself. Why would Udell be to blame for Pacho dropping his endorsement for your campaign? Your husband succeeded in what I failed at. Udell turned Pacho against me by poisoning his mind. You're not really being specific, Owen. Udell made it clear to Pacho that I had something to hide. I can't even begin to guess what Wade could possibly be hiding from me about Sean and why. So how do you want me to proceed? It's vital that Wade isn't aware that I'm suspicious. Are you sure about that, Fiboon? If Wade knows that you're onto him, then don't you think it would give you a greater chance at figuring out where Sean could be? Like I've told you in the past, Ben, my sons knew better than to lie to me. Yet, Wade had no issue lying to my face. That only means he would continue to deny that he knows anything. Since you believe that Wade knows where Sean is, do you think that Wade is keeping his younger brother safe? Clarice, I am in no mood for your mind games right now. All I'm trying to do is tell you the truth. You've already brought up the fact that I'm the one who raised Vivian. She ain't gonna act as if I never existed. Did you know your daughter well enough to realize that she would take over my family's company? Vivian was raised better than that, which means that it's obvious that she didn't care about what you taught her, Shirley. I get that my daughter is responsible for her own actions, but you played a hand in how she turned out, Clarice. You have no idea how much your mother and I care about each other, Pacho. The two of us have loved one another long before you were born and before she made the biggest mistake, marrying Devante. I get that my father is the monster who took your younger sister's life, but all it shows is that my mother seems to have a type. Oh, really? Yes. For some reason, she ends up falling for men who end up hurting her, which is why you're here, Isidore. If you break my mother's heart, then I vow to break you. What do you think you're doing, Pacho? But you do have something to hide, Owen, which also means that you have something to hide as well. And Pacho was upset that I wasn't upfront with him when all I was trying to do was protect you, Wanda. I'm sure that Pacho has washed his hands of you and doesn't even care to know what you've been hiding. You don't know that for sure, because if Pacho does find out about us, then you can thank Udell. None of this makes sense, Ben. I don't understand why Wade just wouldn't assure me that Sean is okay. Are you saying that you believe Wade did something to Sean? When I married their father, I knew that I married into a family which devoured one another. Unfortunately, it's possible that Wade did something to his younger brother. You and Lorenzo are the only ones who get credit for creating that demon. That's right. I know that I was wrong to sleep with your husband, but Vivian was clearly bitter for a long time, and I didn't realize how bitter she actually was. She was resentful that I raised her on my own while her father lived a life of luxury with his other children. But it didn't have to be like that if you hadn't exiled me in the first place, Clarice, and risked you coming after my family's fortune. I made it clear to you that I didn't want your money. All I wanted to do was what was right by my baby. And I told you about Lorenzo and I to do right by you. The fact that you defiled my husband made me lose all of my trust in you. Just keep in mind that if your daughter and my husband have a close bond, then you will only be a thing of the past in your daughter's eyes. Don't expect me to apologize for protecting my family, Ma. I never once asked for your protection, Bacho, especially since I have always and will always be the parent. Go easy on him, Isabel. He's only trying to look out for you. Save your breath, Isidore. All I need you to understand is that there will be consequences if you don't take what I said seriously. I'm really sorry, Isidore. You don't have to apologize for anything. You're a special woman, Isabel, and it makes sense that your son wants to make sure that you don't have any pain in your life. Maybe the person you should blame for losing Pacho's endorsement in your campaign is the man in the mirror, Owen. Are you seriously fine with the fact that your husband has increased the risk of our secret coming to light? Let me worry about Udell. Now get out of here before the crowd grows. Pacho has plenty of resources, Wanda. Being seen in public with me should be the least of your worries if Pacho uses those resources to uncover what I've kept from him. I know that I was wrong to sleep with your husband, but Vivian was clearly bitter for a long time, and I didn't realize how bitter she actually was. She was resentful that I raised her on my own while her father lived a life of luxury with his other children. But it didn't have to be like that if you hadn't exiled me in the first place, Clarice. And risk you coming after my family's fortune? I made it clear to you that I didn't want your money. All I wanted to do was what was right by my baby. And I told you about Lorenzo and I to do right by you. The fact that you defiled my husband made me lose all of my trust in you. Just keep in mind that if your daughter and my husband have a close bond, then you will only be a thing of the past in your daughter's eyes. Are you saying that you believe Wade did something to Sean? When I married their father, I knew that I married into a family which devoured one another. Unfortunately, it's possible that Wade did something to his younger brother. Are you seriously fine with the fact that your husband has increased the risk of our secret coming to light? Let me worry about Udell. Now get out of here before the crowd grows. Pacho has plenty of resources, Wanda. Being seen in public with me should be the least of your worries if Pacho uses those resources to uncover what I've kept from him. Aight, Mama. Am I here cause you decided to attend my event after all? Or to keep on scolding me for being successful? Stealing a company ain't something to be proud of, Vivian. And no, I ain't asked you to come here to lecture you. I want to know how close you're getting to Lorenzo. I've got good news and bad news, Quinlan. Give me the good news first. Fiboon realizes that Wade has been lying to her this whole time. That's amazing, Ben. So what could the bad news possibly be? She doesn't believe that Wade is protecting Sean. Fiboon thinks there's a chance that Wade hurt his younger brother. I'm sure you're glad to hear that Pacho Torres is no longer endorsing Owen. The news made my day, Wanda. What I'm trying to figure out is what Pacho's breaking point could have been Udell. Praise God, Pacho dropped his endorsement for Owen. It truly feels like a weight lifted off of our shoulders, Jeremiah. Now we can focus on building this house for struggling mothers, getting Vanessa and JJ through Keith's sentencing, and preparing for the birth of our son. Does me getting close to Lorenzo worry you, Mama? Here's the deal, Vivian. If you want a relationship with your biological father, then I'll support your decision. But you were trying to keep me from him my whole life, though. You wouldn't even tell me who he was. You're right, I didn't. But I really did believe that I was protecting you. Now I've grown to realize how wrong I was, and from the bottom of my heart, baby, I'm so sorry. Don't worry about it, Mama. Besides, I'm only trying to build a healthy working relationship with Lorenzo. I'm not sure if I can believe that. What do you mean Wade could have harmed Sean? If the other crime families didn't go after Sean and make him disappear, that only leaves Wade. But Ben, just because Fiboon doesn't know where her son is doesn't mean that her oldest son did anything to him. And I understand that, Quinlan. But the Apinas have been known to destroy one another for generations so that one member of the family can remain on top.
Pacho clearly realized that Owen wasn't worth supporting.
And that's the only reason, Udal?
What other reason would there be?
Why are you trying to leave certain details out?
How come you think I'm hiding something from you, Wanda?
You should know that Pacho Torres dropped his endorsement, Wanda, and your husband is to blame.
I really hope that you're here, just so you can explain how you're dropping out of the race.
As you both know, Pacho Torres is no longer endorsing me, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna give up to try and become Valley Park's next district attorney. What makes you think that you have a chance against Heidi? The most influential families in this town want nothing to do with you, Owen. And Valley Park deserves a better district attorney than D.A. Russo. This town deserves better than the families that are supporting her, Shelley. You two would know exactly what I'm referring to. Are you seriously gonna doubt everything I say from here on out, Mama? That's the last thing I wanna do, Vivian. Cause I wanna come to a point where I can truly trust you again. But can't you see that you ain't making it easy for me? Here's the truth. I did well without Lorenzo in my life before. I don't need him to coddle me now that he knows that I'm his daughter. You didn't know who Lorenzo was when you were growing up, but I know you ain't forgotten the many nights that I come into your room wiping the tears from your very eyes where you cry asking me where your daddy was and why he didn't want you. That truly broke my heart, baby, and I thought that comforting you, telling you that I'd never leave you was all that you needed. What you don't know is how guilty I felt keeping to myself that Lorenzo ain't even know you existed and never knew how much you were hurting. Now you've got the chance to experience what you ate for so long, Vivian. But the cycle of the Apinas devouring each other must have ended with Fiboon's late husband, Boonmi.
Sean is nowhere to be found, Quinlan. Wade won't tell her where he is.
If he won't even assure his own mother that Sean is alive, then it makes sense to assume that Sean is no longer living. But why would Wade do something like that to his younger brother? When Sean disappeared, it was when we created the fake profile of the teen girl who sent texts to his phone, texts which Wade saw. Have you forgotten that you explained to me that Pacho dropping his endorsement is exactly what you wanted? Just be honest with me, Udal.
You're right, and I'm sorry, Wanda. I had a word with Pacho recently.
What did you say to him?
I told him that Owen was hiding some secrets. But don't worry, I didn't let Pacho know what went on between you and Owen.
Why didn't you include me in this, Udal? Don't you think that Pacho would get bitter at the fact that Owen wasn't honest with him from the very beginning? And because of his bitterness, Pacho would try to find out what Owen's secret is? What are you talking about, Owen? Pacho explained to me that he refused to continue endorsing my campaign because Udal told him that I've been keeping some very serious secrets. Have you kept secrets from your most influential endorser? You're pretty quiet there, Jeremiah. I think the real question here is if you're keeping secrets from your wife.
I love Shelley, and I would never keep anything from her that she needs to know.
But you will keep secrets from her that you don't feel that it's in your place to share. As you can see, Mama, I'm all grown up now. Now I understand how fast time flew by when you blinked. I know that you ain't a little girl anymore, Vivian. But don't act like you still don't got those childhood scars. They still need to heal, baby. I say this out of love, but you're my mother, not my therapist. Talk to you later, Mama. Are you seriously telling me that Wade took his own brother's life because he saw Sean as a liability? After Sean pretty much vanished out of thin air, it's unfortunately what makes the most sense. That's it? Denny Clark brutally loses her young life and the person who took that life doesn't pay the price for it? Another young girl who gets hurt by grown men is robbed of getting justice? If Sean is no longer alive, then I don't think it means he completely got away with what he's done. But I'll do what it takes to make Wade pay for robbing you of seeing Sean face his day in court. As long as Fiboon doesn't go after Wade first.
I doubt Pacho cares about what happens with Owen at all. Come on, Wanda. There should be a time of celebration. Owen practically lost the election.
Knowing Owen, I doubt he's gonna give up so easily.
He might as well give up, because losing an endorsement from Pacho not long after Isabel expressed her concerns, all of his efforts will fail.
I refuse to allow you to inject poison into my home. Get out of my house, and I suggest that you never show up here again. It's clear to me that Owen has an idea of what Udell and Heidi are keeping a secret, and will keep it that way, Shelley. This is a burden which Udell has to bear. I don't want you to bear it like I have, because the less people who know about this, the better. I'm not gonna risk having a panic attack while I'm pregnant. Your father and I will have your back all the way through. Don't think about the worst case scenario.
Yvette, if you really don't want to testify, then we won't force you.
I guess this conversation is over.
I get that my father is the monster who took your younger sister's life, but all it shows is that my mother seems to have a type.
Oh, really?
Yes. For some reason, she ends up falling for men who end up hurting her, which is why you're here, Isidore. If you break my mother's heart, then I vow to break you.
What do you think you're doing, Bacho? That's it? Denny Clark brutally loses her young life, and the person who took that life doesn't pay the price for it? Another young girl who gets hurt by grown men is robbed of getting justice? If Sean is no longer alive, then I don't think it means he completely got away with what he's done. But I'll do what it takes to make Wade pay for robbing you of seeing Sean face his day in court, as long as Fiboon doesn't go after Wade first. What's up, Quinlan? I've got some good news for you, Jackie. Disappointing news for me, though. I'm really curious now. Spill the tea. My search for Shauna Pena has finally come to an end.
Going out with you like this brings back so many memories for me.
Remember the old diner we used to hang out at back in the day before Shirley made it her own? I can't even forget it. I loved that place so much that I would take Pacho there often, and he'd end up enjoying eating there. With summer on its way, I can't wait for us to enjoy all it entails and get back to where we left off. Isidore, Isabel, what a surprise. Do you got your prom dress ready yet, Vanessa? Believe it or not, prom hasn't really been on my mind much lately, Max. I can't stop thinking about Keith's sentencing.
Yvette, I ain't expect to see you here.
I just wanted to spend some time outside of my house, Zeke. Is Nichelle around?
She's on her way.
Guess I'll be on my way out then.
Wait, how you holding up?
Are you asking me that so that you can run and tell your best friend Dee Dee? What a relief. I'm so glad that I don't gotta worry about hearing some news story about you catching some stray bullet. What made you stop searching for Shauna Pena, Quinlan? I found out something that made me realize that searching for him would be a waste of my time. What'd you find out? I can't say. Congratulations, Jackie. You finally got what you wanted. Which also means that your daughter, Kimmy, won't be able to get what she wants.
Don't you understand that you're rudely interrupting us, Harley?
My apologies. It does look like you two are enjoying one another's company. Did Isidore not tell you that we got back together? Whoa, that sure is news to me. Enjoy your happiness, Isabel. Since you're with Isidore again, that happiness won't last long at all. I really wish that Keith Burke wasn't consuming your thoughts. We're on the same boat, Max, but it's difficult. Ever since he stalked me and took Ulissa from us, it's almost like he played my mind somehow. How do you even do it?
How do I do what, Vanessa?
I've been a born-again Christian longer than you have. but it seems like it was easier for you to forgive Keeve while I find it so impossible.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
The other day, Nichelle approached me when she found out that I wouldn't be testifying against Keeve. Your girlfriend told me how she found out from Dee Dee, and I guess Dee Dee told you.
Look, Yvette, Dee Dee was just trying to look out for her cousins.
Please, Dee Dee only looks out for herself.
Are you always gonna hate her for telling me that I'm the one who got you pregnant?
At least Kimmy has an idea of what happened to Danny. A bunch of families don't even got a clue as to what happened to the loved ones they lost. Now I just need to figure out how to break it to Kimmy. That girl's my baby, Quinlan. Let me break the news to her. Is she here? She's in the break room. So I'll let Kimmy know once you head out. Let me know what?
Don't you realize that you're embarrassing yourself, Harley? Have you no shame in trying to make us miserable just because you are?
What makes you think that I'm trying to make you two miserable, Essador? All I'm doing is stating the obvious. I really am sorry about Finnegan Harley, but Essador does have a point. I know that you tried to warn me against him, but Essador isn't to blame for your pain. And I feel bad for you, Isabel, because being with Essador will make you lose peace as you know it.
That's it. Let's take a walk, Harley. I'm warning you right now, you better leave Isabel and I alone.
I agreed not to tell Isabel that she blackmailed the woman who gave birth to the maniac who took her baby's life. I never once agreed to bring you any peace.
Forgiving Keeve wasn't easy whatsoever, Vanessa. After he took Ulysses' life, I hadn't felt that low since I attempted to take my own life.
Not that I have any desire to end my life, Max, but I get where you're coming from. This is the lowest I've ever felt. Every day it feels like I've been stuck in that school library where that demon pointed his weapon at us, hurt you, and took out Ulyssa right in front of my eyes.
Sadly, that's a day that I'll always remember. Every time I glance at the surgical scars on my body, I flash back to that September day. But I end up thanking God that I'm alive, and that God spared your life that day too.
It doesn't matter if she told you the truth, Zeke. It wasn't Dee Dee's place to say anything.
That's right, Yvette. You should have told me you got pregnant the moment you found out.
Explain this to me. Did finding out that you got me pregnant make your life any easier?
It don't matter if my life got easier or not. When I asked you if I got you pregnant, I wanted the truth. You don't see me hating you like you hate Dee Dee.
Don't try to tell me that I don't have a right to be mad since you won't be involved in our son's life. Hey Quinlan, are you here to share news about Shauna Pena? Quinlan's gotta leave, baby. There's something I gotta let you know. Wait, Jackie, I'm here so I can tell her. Tell me what? I'm really sorry, Kimmy, but finding Sean isn't gonna be possible. What? Why not? I can't go into detail, but it's not likely that I'll be able to find him and bring him to justice.
Kimmy, babe, you ready to head out?
Babe, what's wrong? I'll let you know when we leave. Thanks for letting me know, Quinlan. See you later. Who did Kimmy just walk off with? That's her boo thing, Lyric Gaither. And you think Kimmy is old enough to date? My baby's 15, Quinlan. She'll be fine. Plus, Lyric is the best thing to ever happen to her since she lost her best friend for good.
I suggest you stop doing what you're doing. If you don't want me to expose you to the legal board for blackmailing me,
do that, and Isabel will know the sort of man she fell in love with. I'll agree to keep my end of the deal as long as you keep yours. We might have not signed a legal document, but the deal didn't include that I walk on eggshells whenever I see you with Isabel. Enjoy your date, Essador. What was that all about?
Harley's still in mourning.
I understand that we grew up seeing these school tragedies on the news, and I even understood that there was a possibility it could happen at our school, but I was so unprepared. No one who goes through what we went through are prepared, Vanessa, but we made it through. We survived. Ulyssa didn't, and that's something I'll never get over, Max.
Neither will I. A son? We're having a boy?
I'd be careful what I'd say out loud if I were you, Zeke. Like I already told you, my parents are gonna help me out. My dad can teach me how to raise a man. What did I miss? Not much. You two enjoy your time together. What were you two talking about, Zeke? Why do you look so troubled? Did you know that Yvette was having a boy? I don't really care much about that girl, you already know that. So I didn't know what she was having. Congrats to her though, I guess. But why does it seem to bother you? It don't bother me at all in the show. Don't try to tell me that I don't have a right to be mad since you won't be involved in our son's life. A son? We're having a boy? I'd be careful what I'd say out loud if I were you, Zeke. Like I already told you, my parents are gonna help me out. My dad can teach me how to raise a man. At least Kimmy has an idea of what happened to Danny. A bunch of families don't even got a clue as to what happened to the loved ones they lost. Now I just need to figure out how to break it to Kimmy. That girl's my baby, Quinlan. Let me break the news to her. Let me know what.
Thanks for a meeting with me, Dee Dee.
Don't mention it, Zeke. Is Nichelle gonna be here soon?
Nah, she don't even know I'm here.
So why did you call me here?
I found out that I'm gonna have a son.
How come you seem so down, Yvette? Do you regret not having a gender reveal party? No, Mom. You didn't want me to keep my baby, so I didn't need a big event to find out that I'm having a son. This certainly isn't what your father and I planned for your life, but I am getting used to the idea of having a grandson. But if you're not upset about not throwing a gender reveal party, then does this mean that she might be having second thoughts about testifying in court?
Why are we meeting here instead of at my office, Miss Franklin?
Because Wade Apina might be having me followed, so I need to make it seem like I just happened to have bumped into you.
Why would Wade be having you followed?
He's aware that I know he's hiding something, Commissioner. And now I think that he's hiding the fact that he took his own brother's life. I've been following Wade all day, Fiboon. Nothing that I saw made it seem like he was anywhere that Sean's body could have been hid. Like I've told you before, Ben, Wade was always taught to look out for his younger brothers. He must have buried Sean somewhere that he would regularly visit him if Wade did in fact take Sean's life. How did it make you feel knowing what you're gonna have?
I don't even know what to feel, Dee Dee. But it makes it feel more real knowing that Yvette's gonna have a son. I bet that makes me sound like trash.
You sound like a young father who's trying to figure out a complicated situation. Give yourself some grace, Zeke.
Did you know that Yvette will be having a boy?
Yvette still wants nothing to do with me. On top of that, I ain't hear nothing from JJ since it seems like he and Yvette are becoming friends.
Do you think Yvette would ever tell JJ that I'm the one who got her pregnant?
I already made up my mind, Mom. I'm not going to testify against Keith Burke in court. I understand that you don't want to do that, Yvette. And you're right. You shouldn't have to feel that sort of pressure since you are pregnant, but I just want to make sure that you won't regret this. Keith almost took my life. Why would I ever want to look at his evil eyes again when he'll be going to prison with or without my testimony? The fact is that I want to make sure that he doesn't hold any power over you, baby.
What makes you so sure that Sean is no longer living and that Wade is responsible?
Ben spoke with Fiboon Apina and she believes that since she hasn't heard from Sean after I interviewed her that Sean must no longer be alive. Since the family has a reputation of devouring its own, it made sense to her that Wade took care of Sean.
But why? It's not like Sean was trying to take over Wade's position.
No, but he did disappear soon after the text from the fake profile was sent to Sean's phone.
So you're telling me that Wade saw Sean as a liability? It would be a challenge to go after Wade when there's no body.
Wade must want to try and forget the fact that he took his younger brother's life. How can he forget something so terrible when I've constantly reminded him that Sean is nowhere to be found? Are you sure that it would be too much of a risk to ask Wade where he could have buried Sean? If Wade could put his own brother into an early grave, then he's more than capable of doing the same to me. Don't worry, Zeke. When Yvette told me that you were the one who got her pregnant, I had to pretty much pull her teeth. She told me when she ain't even tell her parents about you. You're in the clear, but I ain't even pressure Yvette for her to tell me she's gonna have a boy. She just spit it out. I mean, you were gonna find out eventually. Yeah, but I just thought having a girl would be easier. Hold up, how come you're more worried about having a boy? The last thing I want is for my son to end up just like me, Dee Dee. Keith has no power over me, Mom, but you can't even bring yourself to be in the same room as him. What do you not understand? The last time I was in the room with that monster, he was getting ready to blow my brains out. But you're not in my shoes, so why would you understand why I would never want to see that psycho again? I know that I didn't go through what you went through, Yvette, and I wish that I could take that experience away from you, but testifying against Keith could show him that he couldn't break you. It's clear that he didn't break me because I'm still alive, Mom. You have no idea what he tried to take from me before, and I refuse to give him the chance to try and take something from me again. The very thought of Wade getting rid of his own brother's body just gives me the shivers. I would do anything to protect my younger brother Zeke. They're a bunch of traffickers, Miss Franklin. The Apina's morality is set at a low bar. How will this shift the investigation, Commissioner? According to everything you've told me, I'm no longer searching for a runaway criminal, but his corpse. What I need you to do is ensure me that the public won't find out about your theory, especially Wade. Are you telling me that you're afraid of Wade? I thought that he and his brothers always feared me, especially when I raised them to never tell me a single lie. But lying to you doesn't immediately mean that Wade no longer fears you. He might have lied because of his fear of you, Faiboon. That gives you an advantage. Do you truly think it's wise for me to take such a risk? What are you really concerned about, Faiboon? Hearing from your oldest son that he took the life of his younger brother? If you're worried that your son will grow up dealing, then you ain't gotta worry since he'll be born into a wealthy family. We've already been through this before, Dee Dee. I'm just worried about how he'd turn out growing up without a father. When he gets older and I ain't there, then he'd hate me. Think of it like giving him up for adoption, Zeke. Yvette's parents are gonna help raise the baby. He'll have a father figure by being raised by Yvette's dad. But he ain't the baby's dad, Dee Dee. I am. That boy is gonna know that he grew up without a father who wasn't there for him. He ain't gonna care about why I'd have to stay away. I get that you don't want to lose Nichelle, but it's down to you if you lose out on the chance of getting to know your son or not. If I don't understand, then help me, Yvette. Just leave it alone, Mom, please. I won't. I am still your mother, and I don't want you to suffer in silence. You know that you're having a son. Years down the line, would you like your son to do to you what you're doing to me? That's not fair. It is. You decided to keep this baby, so you need to deal with the real consequences of that choice. You're gonna be a mother sooner than you realize. Here's a piece of advice. Mothers don't want to see their children suffer. As your mother, I am pleading with you to just open up and be honest with me. Mom, I've already made a mess of my life and brought so much shame to this family. How would you ever believe anything I'd ever tell you? As long as you just open up, I will never doubt anything you say. The second you were born, I vowed to love you for as long as I live, Yvette. Trust me and I'll trust you. What did you mean Keith tried taking a lot from you? Do you feel like he took your sense of security? The day that he took Elissa's life and almost took mine wasn't the only thing that Keith did to me. What else has he done? You're gonna be so mad at me. To be honest, you're worrying me, baby. But I need you to trust me enough to help you get through whatever you're keeping from me. Just spit it out. Before Keith brought the weapon to school and did damage, Keith tried to force himself onto me. I know that bringing this to light will be dangerous, Commissioner, but we need to figure out something since Faiboon won't be going to the police with what she believes. Do you think she'd protect Wade? Quite the opposite. Since Wade has been lying to her, I'm afraid that she'll get rid of Wade next, making her the head of the Apina organization. I'll tell you what worries me, Ben. I'm worried what I might do once I hear what Wade did to Sean. You hired me to find out what happened to your son, Faiboon. Now I can't tell you how to feel, but what I can tell you that finding out the truth is in your hands. Okay? I'll get Wade to confess to taking his brother's life. The day that he took Elis's life and almost took mine wasn't the only thing that Keith did to me. What else has he done? You're gonna be so mad at me. To be honest, you're worrying me, baby. But I need you to trust me enough to help you get through whatever you're keeping from me. Just spit it out. Before Keith brought the weapon to school and did damage, Keith tried to force himself onto me. Think of it like giving him up for adoption, Zeke. Yvette's parents are gonna help raise the baby. He'll have a father figure by being raised by Yvette's dad. But he ain't the baby's dad, Didi. I am. That boy is gonna know that he grew up without a father who wasn't there for him. He ain't gonna care about why I'd have to stay away. I get that you don't want to lose Nichelle, but it's down to you if you lose out on the chance of getting to know your son or not. Since Wade has been lying to her, I'm afraid that she'll get rid of Wade next, making her the head of the Opinion organization. You hired me to find out what happened to your son, Faiboon. Now I can't tell you how to feel, but what I can tell you that finding out the truth is in your hands. Okay? I'll get Wade to confess to taking his brother's life. What did you need to ask me, Didi? I wanted to know if Yvette told you that she's having a boy. I'm telling you the truth, Mom. I swear. This time I'm telling you the truth. Keith tried to force himself on me. I've tried so hard to forget, but the memory just keeps on coming back. I know that I haven't given you any reason to trust me lately, but I'm not lying this time. Please tell me that you believe me. It's okay, Yvette. I believe you. What's going on, Quinlan? I spoke with Commissioner Pierce at Theodosius' palace. Spoke with him about what? I told him how Wade might have taken Sean's life. Why would you involve him in this? Because, Ben, if Faiboon believes that Wade took Sean's life, then she might do the same to Wade. The police need to know before something like that could happen. I don't think you made the right call. Why are you looking at me like that, Mom? I'm tired of your lies. Excuse me? I want to know where your brother is, and I want to know now. This is the first time I heard about the gender of Yvette's baby. How did you find out? I heard that Yvette's having a boy because a friend told me, JJ. That's weird. How would a friend of yours know when it seems like this is something Yvette wanted to keep to herself? Clearly, Yvette ain't keep it to herself. But if she ain't tell you she was having a boy, then I guess that means she ain't gonna tell you who got her pregnant? How come you believe me so easily, Mom? I lied about Max. I got myself pregnant. There's something different about you now than when you lied about Max. Last time you seemed like you were desperate to get out of trouble. Right now, I see a pain in your eyes which I've never seen before. I'm sorry I kept it a secret for so long. Baby, you have nothing to apologize for. But I need you to make this clear for me. Make what clear exactly? Everything. I need you to explain to me exactly what happened when Keith tried attacking you. Why do you think I made a mistake informing Commissioner Pierce about any of this? He's already proven that he's trustworthy. I just convinced Faiboon to make Wade confess to taking Sean's life, but I thought she didn't want Wade to know that she was suspicious of him. This was the only way that Wade would confess to what he's done. And you think that Faiboon would turn her oldest son into the police? It didn't occur to you that she could try and end Wade's life? Would that be such a bad thing? I don't know how many times we have to go over this, Mom. I don't know where Sean is. If I did, then he would have been located by now. Then how come you don't want to meet with the other families? because it would be a waste of time. Have you already met with them, Wade? I didn't need to. Your brother has gone missing for months. He left with no word, and you don't think it would be wise to ensure that none of the other families tried to come after us? I understand that you're worried about Sean, but there's no reason why the other families would come after us. Explain to me how you're so certain of that. From what I understand, the father won't be involved in the baby's life, so there's no reason to even know who the deadbeat is. You're telling me that you ain't never asked Yvette who got her pregnant? Why is this so important to you, Dee Dee? Yvette and I used to be friends, remember? I was her friend before you started suddenly caring about her. And since we were friends, that don't mean I don't want to make sure she's alright, JJ. I'm not saying that you have to stop caring about her. What I am saying is that you should just back off when it comes to Yvette's life. Here you go being so protective of Yvette again. Why is that, JJ? When you and Dad went to Martha's Vineyard last summer, I threw a house party. Okay? And Keith came to this house party? Yeah, but when I was in my room, he wanted me to sleep with him. I told him no, but he wouldn't take no for an answer. Keith pushed me onto my bed and his disgusting lips started to touch me. Just take your time, okay, baby? I begged him to stop, but he wouldn't listen to me. How did you get him off you? I didn't. Someone else got him off of me. Who? Zeke Franklin? Yvette. Why did it take you so long to tell me all of this? I wasn't sure if anyone would believe me. Even if you and Dad did believe me, Keith's dad was still the police commissioner at the time. But Zeke rescued you. He was a witness who also had a bad reputation, Mom. After Keith tried to do what he did, I realized how wrong I was to make it seem like Max would ever do anything like that to me or any other girl. It's why I confessed to D.A. Russo about lying. I can't believe you'd suggest something like that, Ben. You know that Adaku Danjuma was stopped because her life ended. Except my life would have ended if you hadn't intervened. This is completely different. You're right about that. We can't find Sean's body, Quinlan. Wade losing his life would make up for Sean not ending up in prison. And if Fiboon ends Wade's life, women would still be trafficked because she'd become the next head of the organization. I don't need to explain myself. Don't you dare walk away from me, Wade. Because if you do, then it will be a huge mistake. You're not leaving my presence until you answer all of my questions. How am I supposed to give you answers that I don't have, Mom? You're lying. It bothers me to see how Ben Russo has gotten to your head. The only person messing with my mind is you, Wade, and it ends now. Maybe I'm looking out for Yvette because she needs someone to look out for her. She already does. Those people are her parents, JJ. I understand that, Dee Dee, but maybe you can understand that I'm also trying to right some wrongs. You should probably do the same. Hey, Zeke. Dee Dee? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I just wanted to let you know that you ain't gotta worry about JJ finding out you got Yvette pregnant. JJ don't even wanna know. Hearing that helps me to sleep easier. Thanks, Dee Dee. Don't mention it. I'll always have your back. I fully understand why you admitted to lying, but still, I really wish you would have told me about this as soon as it happened. After Keith took Ulysses' life, I started to wonder if I shared some responsibility. Maybe if I did report Keith, then he wouldn't have brought a weapon to school. Don't you dare blame yourself for what happened to Ulysses Torres. Keith is the one to blame, Yvette. And since he has proven that he can't be trusted, I can assure you that no one will ever doubt what you have to say about him if you ever decide to say anything. If something happens to Wade, then the police will immediately look towards Fiboon's direction. Running the organization won't be a walk in the park for her with the police breathing down her neck. But you don't know for sure if the Apina organization will crumble as soon as Fiboon is in charge. What we do know for sure is that Sean seemed to have vanished off the face of the earth, and everyone who believes that he's no longer living on the earth believes that Wade took him out. And if Wade ends up just like his brother, then there will be blood on your hands, Ben. I would never play with your mind the way that you're saying, Mom. You already have. One thing you have never known me to be is a fool. Don't think I forgot when you wouldn't answer my phone when I realized your brother went missing. And you already know that I was putting in all of the work to look for Sean when you called. Except you weren't looking for him because there was really nothing to find. Mom, what are you saying? I'm saying that your brother is no longer alive, but you already knew that. And don't you dare deny it if you know what's good for you. Fine, I'll admit it, Mom. You're right. Sean is no longer living.